Good morning, everybody. Vic, why didn't you play the one we had recorded? I got a sleeping family here. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. As we are in dual locations. As you may, it is 4 o'clock in the morning here, Rob. Thank you. Thank you. We seem to have the technology figured out, not quite the way that we wanted it, but the cameras being difficult. But what are you gonna do? You can't I mean, we can't have everything work perfectly, it would be too nice. So, you know, so my wife, when my alarm went off this morning, said, "Well, I'm going to sleep on the couch." And no, but it's, we have, like, a dual living room set up here, and, unfortunately, the couch that's far away is not an ideal sleeping couch. The downstairs couch is like it's a big leather sectional, and it's got like it's one that's you can plug your phones into, and it's got all these yeah, that's no good. The upstairs couch is the lounging couch, but it's right outside my bedroom. Um but that's where she is. So she's on the lounging couch. What are you going to do? She's rewarded with my presence. And She understands how great it is that I'm home. I mean, it's um, uh, it could have been easier. It should have been easier. As you know, the other day I checked in. I got all set up to go, and when I got to the airport, I had plenty of. I walked right through security, no problem, and I got to my. I did TSA pre. I got to my gate, or at least what I thought was my gate. I got to the gate that was printed on my ticket, and the gate that I double checked the board, that's where the flight was gonna be, but apparently that wasn't my gate. I was sitting there realizing, I was thinking, "Man, there's not a lot of people flying to Vegas today," and then, I'm looking at my flight is supposed to leave at, like, 11:25, and it gets to be, like, I don't know, 11:05, still no one's boarded. I'm like, "This is odd," and then I hear over the loudspeaker, AJ Hoffman, please come to it was me and 2 other people. Please get to, A12. That's Alpha 12. And I look up and I'm at Alpha 11, and everybody else is boarded. I'm literally the last person to get on the plane, and you know what that means, Rob. Your boy got a middle seat. Despite checking in early, I got middle seated. Yeah. Yep. So, no. No, and apparently they changed gates at some point, but that was before I got there because we had to do a radio show, so I wasn't there, like, at your normal time, but I they got you gotta change it on the board, you gotta do something. No, it was 2 ladies, and there was a little old lady on the window and a younger, lady on the aisle, and the lady on the aisle brought her own food, and she brought pizza, which was no problem, right? She had some pizza, but then she pulled out this other container that had, like, artichoke hearts and olives and all these this very vinegary, pungent smell, and I was like, "Well, this is unpleasant." The lady next to me kept trying to talk to me despite the fact that I had headphones in, and then she took her shoes off, and then on top of taking her shoes off, she kept touching me with her foot, which was very bothersome. but she's an old lady, so what are you gonna do? Like, I can't be an asshole to this. Oh, whoops, sorry, Vic. I can't be rude to this old lady. And then to make it even best, the woman on the aisle did not want any snacks or a beverage, and I got a Coke Zero. The lady on the inside got a Sprite, and I as the lady reaches across me to grab her Sprite, she spills the Sprite on the other lady. Um, so that was fun. I say, there's always something on these flights, but it could have been worse. Let's just say that. I got here fine. I chew I No, I was like probably yeah, I was probably like row 13 or 14. It wasn't too bad. Deplaning wasn't a disaster, which was nice. So it was fine. It was just no, they don't discuss such things, Rob. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. That way even if I show up late, I've still got my assigned seat. That's how it should be. Rob, imagine being at school. Imagine you show up at school, but you're tardy to your chemistry class, and you walk in, and there's someone sitting at your desk. I mean, that would it would cause chaos. Chaos, because now you gotta say, "Oh, where do I sit? That's my desk." With the assigned seats, I could have been sitting at the wrong gate the whole time. They could have it didn't matter if they would have, not informed me properly, but I would still have my seat. That's the way life should be. That's in a civilized society, that's the way it should be. Oh, no. Oh. Well, on Southwest, it matters more because the earlier you're on, the better seat you can pick. On American, it's like, okay, you get on. I don't understand the rush. Like when I fly on United or American or whatever, okay. If I don't get on with my boarding group, I don't care. I don't because if you've got a big carry on, it becomes concerning. But, and I had a big carry-on, but they had room for me. I had a big backpack. I had foil over the windows. It's very odd. I'm not sure what he's doing in there that whole time. It's a little, it's a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, you have to. drive from the
or
Vikings.
maybe we're talking a matter of 2 or 3 plays. I mean, I left that went down, and yeah, it was egregious and it was awful, and yeah, I didn't feel like they got robbed. But some of it was I felt like Minnesota after the previous 2 weeks and that first half and the halftime and the hot Rams start about midway through the fourth had just about given up the ghost. That was a tired football team.
No, I think you're right. And on a short week, yeah, they were tired. Again, it goes back to the week after you play the Lions. I mean, everybody just seems to just melt that week, and the Vikings were no different.
On the other side, though, welcome back Pua and Puka. I mean, this is a lethal wide receiver combination that we had forgotten about.
The Rams are not going to be they're not going to be a walkover. And when you've got a good quarterback, they do. You've got a good head coach. They've got, I think, one of the best. You're in it, and now they're sitting at 3-4, and they are better than people think they are. They are going to be a tough out going forward. All right, I got to tell you guys about Underdog Fantasy. It's the place to play if you're a sports betting fan or a sports fan looking to win some money while watching sports. And I got to tell you, you know what cost me last night, Rob, was Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes, I had under points, and somehow, like in the first half, he was Superman. It drove me crazy. But Harrison Barnes got me last night. But you know what? In fact, I can't wait to get back to Texas so I can get on my next Underdog fan. I do have one in set up to go. I won't be able to, track it the way you can on Underdog, where it just shows you where you're at, where are you sitting on your prop. But I am looking forward to getting back and doing this more. MLB, NFL, NBA, they do it all. College football, you can get down on. It is a ton of fun. And this season, Underdog's going to be running a special promo or bonus almost every single day, like profit boost, discounts, free picks, which basically means like you say, I want higher than a half yard passing. Okay, there you go. You got it. Free. And it's currently boost over from now until October 27th. You can boost your profit on all NBA entries by 20%. Literally, they're giving you unlimited profit boosts to make basketball picks. Download the app, sign up with promo code Alamo, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code Alamo. Must be 18 or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is a football Friday. Boy, I tell you what, we're going to talk a lot of Dallas Cowboys football. John Machota with The Athletic will join us at 5:15. And the Aggies with a huge football game at College Station. They'll take on LSU. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, will join us to talk about that. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz.
Yes, sir. And I'll ask for them in that order.
Afternoons at 2 on 94.1.
And that'll be in the 7 o'clock segment.
New Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. For the most part, we are in good shape. Now, we do have this road work that's causing some delays in the Schertz area. 35 southbound Schertz Parkway to 1604. Roadway reduced to 1 lane. That's a 12-minute delay. Stop and go from Wiederstein. We've got several construction zones along the way. And I-10 upper level eastbound Woodlawn to Frio Street. Bridge joint repair work, so roadway still reduced to just 1 lane. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
Hi, it's Jason Minix. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Vic, I like that promo you read. Picture this: you and a loved one.
Yeah, I had to do that.
In AT&T Stadium, making love in the parking lot.
What?
Yeah. You being abused by your overly aggressive Cowboy fan wife after you guys lose 42-0. That would be terrible.
Kind of mood for that one. I couldn't do it. I was like, well, this is what you're gonna get.
It was like on the when you do a read, it always says like how it should be read, and it's like mood, sexual.
Mood.
Yeah.
Picture this: you and your loved one in Dallas. Oh, staying in a hotel and waking up and watching the Cowboys lose by 40 points.
Yeah.
What a time. What a time to be alive. It is the Morning Huddle 94.1. It was opening night for the San Antonio Spurs last night. And you know what, Rob? We made some people some money because we said under 229.5. When the daily lines happened, the number was 229.5. We said under.
I want to go check it out.
It closed at 227. And guess what? 229 on the dot. So we got the win. No problem. Of course, no problem. And but the Spurs did not get the win. They fall 120 to 109. And Rob, this was not a good debut for Chris Paul. This was not a good debut at all for Victor Wembanyama.
I tried to watch. This is a long way from being a good team. Now, we're going to get better. 2 starters last year on this team weren't even here the last time we saw them. 2 starters. And the guys that were here are doing different things, and one of our starters wasn't even on the court. So it was going to be rough. I thought that we'd start a little hotter, and we played competitive basketball for a half, and the third quarter just kind of got away from them. But you're right. There's a long way to go between here and there. And, man, did you see Chris Paul barking? CP3, I think he's getting a taste of some of the issues with a young team that isn't comfortable yet. He was mad at everybody all night long.
Well, he should have been mad at himself. He was no good either. He couldn't shoot. And you know what happened last night, Rob? It reared its ugly head. The thing that I was worried about, that they were going to be a volume 3-point shooting team. We said the sweet spot for this team was they take 25 threes. I'm not going to be mad. They took 36 threes. They made 12 of them. Hagen was the certainly best shooter on the floor for the Spurs last night. Victor Wembanyama going 1 of 8 for 3, that should not happen. That's if that happens 3 years from now, it's one thing. I want Vic to develop the parts of the game that are most vital to his success first, and then grow into that other stuff.
What are those? I'm curious. I'm serious.
It's literally stand under the basket and let them throw it to you, and you dunk on someone smaller than you, or you know, break down a big fat slow that has no chance of defending you. 6, 7, 8 feet from the basket. Not chucking up threes. Wemby should never be 1 of 8 from 3.
And I think there's a lot of times he's kind of floating in no man's land. You got to commit one thing or the other. And he does look a little lost, but everybody was lost last night. Defensively, I was pretty impressed with the first half. I thought that they clamped on. They had a concept of help, and it was low scoring, and some of that was just first game, and others it was pretty decent defense on both sides. It was the second half where they started getting pressed, and they started to worry about buckets. When you start worrying and start pressing because you're down by 8, and you're just a little ill-advised, and things got out of whack, and then suddenly you don't get back on the right time. You're down by 12, and then you got Luka running back before play even takes a shot, and you got all kinds of stuff going crazy, and you're out of it. And this is a team that's not even close to being capable of fighting their way back on a regular basis unless something crazy goes off, like they hit 4 consecutive threes, which we're not going to see that but once a month. So that's where we are, and I'm glad we got a taste of it. But there's a long way to go on the chemistry side of things. It's just You could just tell that they laid the dollar short both defensively and offensively through the fourth quarter. It was not a pretty exhibition at all.
No, it wasn't. And you know what? The guys who were chucking for the Mavericks were hitting. Klay Thompson, you talk about what they wanted from Klay Thompson is exactly that. Be what's considered the third or fourth option on the floor and just take open looks and hit open looks. And Klay 6 of 10, come on.
He was wide open on at least 5 of those shots. There wasn't a person within 4 feet of him. I mean, wide open.
And Klay, you let Klay Thompson spot up.
I
mean, he's just he's never created the shot the way that Steph did. But if you just say, who do you want just standing in a corner making a three? I don't know that there's anybody better in the world than Klay. That's just what he does. And that's what he did last night.
And he's got the gravity that Luka has to benefit. Luka is just going to attract, defenders like flies. And when that happens, and every time we collapsed on Luka, wherever that weak side help came from, Klay filled that void and was right there at the moment that dude stepped toward Luka, and the ball was gone. It was a excellent coaching by Kidd. Coach Jason Kidd turned himself into a pretty decent coach. Now it helps to have Luka and Kyrie orchestrating things, but pretty impressive offense last night. They hit the ground running. That's a team that knows exactly who they are and where they're going. They didn't change a lot. There wasn't a lot new going on, but the guys knew exactly what they were doing. And on the other side of that, Spurs looked a little lost there in the second half.
To me, it was the third quarter. The Spurs had one quarter where they just got overwhelmed. I think the Spurs were the better team in the first half.
Defensively.
And as I was watching, I was like, wow, man, this is really impressive. Now, they said it on the broadcast, and I agree. They just don't have enough dudes who scare you when they've got the ball. You need a couple guys who, like a Klay Thompson, like, oh my God, we just left Klay open. What have we done? And the Spurs just don't have that, and that's the biggest thing missing. And really, as much as I love the Stephen Castle pick, he's not a shooter, and that's still the one major thing I think that the Spurs are missing from becoming like a playoff team. Even I think they need someone who can hit some open shots, and they just don't have that right now. And
there's such a difference, AJ, between being a shooter and a scorer. Scorers get buckets, shooters make shots. And Pop has always been more preferable to the scorer. Get buckets. I don't care how you get it. We're going to run an offense that's good to better to best. And we're going to find a way to get the best bucket the easiest way. What the modern NBA is more about shooters. You're going to have a guy that can stand in the corner, stand on the elbow, and hit that three for everything else to work. And if the Spurs don't have it, and there's not that on the roster. Last week on one of our social media posts, I put out, if the Spurs make the playoffs, Wemby is the MVP. And I think it was even more obvious last night because they're not going to make the playoffs drilling 23s a game. They're not going to be Golden State. They're not going to be Boston for sure. They're not going to be that. And if they are in a fight, it's because Wemby has become superhuman. Because shots, Devin's going to help. There's no question. Chris Paul's going to settle in, and we're going to find it. Champagne might be the next Jonathan Simmons, Gary Neal, Jaren Jackson, all these dudes that Pop has made millions of dollars for because they followed the Greg Popovich professional basketball prescription plan on how to become an NBA player, and Champagne's the next. He's going to be here all year, but I don't see anybody else coming in and being the consistent threat that's going to be required for this team to be a scary team every night.
Yeah, and Harrison Barnes shot better than I thought he was going to shoot.
I don't think he's even a starter, AJ. This guy should not be a starter in the modern NBA. He is a seventh man.
But he was the best player on the floor for him last night.
Exactly. That's my point. He needs to be out there, but he shouldn't.
All right, let's go to the Buyers Barricade guest line, and brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, joining us on the program. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Coach.
Long couple weeks, I'm sure. Not the way you want to head into the bye. At what point do you stop licking wounds and start looking forward to what's next during your bye weeks?
Oh, I think you have to, jump right into it. I mean, I have a similar process that I've adhered to for years. So we went through it with the staff, right after in which we would have done regardless of the outcome of the last game. So that's an opportunity to grow as a football team, because you're at the end of it, you really probably just have one full day of self-scout and self-improvement that you're able to spend. So our staff I thought they did an excellent job of preparing and then taking advantage of the Monday, with just heavy self-scout, work some things on the field a little bit. And then we have a process called Cross the Hall. So I thought it was beneficial, but it's like anything, you got to apply it to the next game and, sort through it and put some of these things in the next game plan.
Yeah, Coach. The idea of self-scout certainly has been a topic over the last couple of weeks, and that cross the hall thing, that's nothing new for you, is it? I mean, you're giving the offensive tape to the defense and the defensive tape to the offense for a lot of reasons. That's not new.
No, it's a process that I've probably done for about 15 years, and I've done it as much as 3 times a year. Hopefully twice a year.
Now, Coach, the reason I ask that is, there's been a lot of questions about plays and design and all that. How much of the play design comes out of that cross the hall stuff?
I mean, play design, and that's really what your off seasons are for. You have studies, the amount of time, energy, history, experience that goes into every play design. So we don't have any issues there.
Coach, when you look at the way this offense has flowed this season, and it doesn't really feel like Dak and CD are quite on the same page yet. How much of that do you attribute to the preseason and Dak not playing any preseason games, CD not being in camp, like their chemistry just not being what you would expect it to be at this point in the season?
Well, I think like everything, I mean, so much of my interaction in these spots is about what needs to be better, and we tend to forget to talk about the things that that we are doing well. But yes, there's no replacement for time together. I mean, I don't care what sport you're in. So particularly when you're talking about skill position that involves the delivery, the timing, and the execution, catching the ball, and so forth. So we have a lot of football left. So we just keep working the things that are going to continue to show up. But I think that's the ultimate challenge in football. I mean, it's 11 on 11, and we're always fighting to get a higher connection and rhythm and timing and so forth. And and I think that's why the ability to play with so many different people in and out of your linemen is a trait you have to have in today's NFL, because things are going to change. I mean, they change every week. And the health of your football team is, you can't control it. I think it's the hardest part of our business from a personal level. When you see a young man come back from, an ACL surgery and he goes down on the field, and it's so that's the toughest part of this business. But it's something that you have to be able to continue to work through. So whether it's a camp holdout, and not playing in preseason, all those things factor in. But you do have preparation that you're doing besides that. So I think our guys do an excellent job of preparation. I think our process and connection of training our football teams top notch. But we're green in some areas, and I recognize that and have no problem.
Coach,
talking about it. We just got to keep working.
I think it's interesting, the dichotomy of what you have to go through to get yourself back on track over these last couple of weeks, and then the talk about the circus atmosphere around that. Things are what they are, and you get used to things like that. Has that ever seemed like an issue at all? I mean, it kind of is, but once you're used to it, the background noise is just background noise, right?
Definitely. I think we're all built differently. We're all have, a product of our backgrounds and experiences. I'm not someone that enjoys drama. So frankly, I think I'm wired properly to work here. So I mean, I just think it's an atmosphere that there's a lot of energy in the building, and I think it's just like anything. It doesn't matter where you are. There's always something that you're going to have to deal with. I mean, there is no utopia for training, and that and it's actually a mechanism and a tool that is a part of what we need to do, and that's focus on winning.
Coach, you guys have a tough one this weekend on the road against
the San Francisco
49ers, a primetime game.
And
Niners are beat up, but to me, this game really is going to come down to you against Kyle more, maybe even as much as it does the players on the field, because while the Niners are banged up and limited, this is one of the best coaches in the NFL. Do you crave these chances to go up against the other guys that are considered elite guys in your business?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love to compete every day. I enjoy competing against Mike Zimmer. We have 2 competitive periods every Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, that's part of the fabric of who we are, and especially for as long as I've done it. But yeah, every one of these games is about competition. I mean, you're competing every day. But yeah, absolutely. Sunday night football out there in San Francisco. I'm looking forward to every component of this.
As you come in, Coach, against the defense that's not quite the San Francisco defense we're used to, though they're still scary. You were asked a question in your presser the other day, and I found the answer fascinating about the number of tight windows that you guys have been facing. Explain to me how when you see the tight window throws and how you adapt to that, because that's some of the witchcraft I don't think the average fan understands.
Well, I think it's just like anything when you look at statistics. I mean, you have to look at these things, deeper with video situation, because CeeDee Lamb's going to be double covered. So do you not make the tight throw to him?
Right.
And I think it's also when you see tight window throws, it's something that really illustrates what the National Football League is. I mean, I show a tape every week in the red zone that talks about all the tight throws, because we're talking about winning championship football, and I think that's another stat that you have to look deeper in filtering it, because the completion percentage within those tight throws that should tell you something too. So I just think it's a product of our game, because you don't have wide open people in this league. You may get some in early September when September football, when things everybody's not clicking at a high level. But to go win against good teams, you got to throw people. You got to throw people open. You don't throw to wide open people, and that's what our league has always been.
Coach, you guys and these 49ers were both picked like 2 of the top 4 teams in the NFC preseason. Neither of you have started off the season the way you'd hope, but when you get these sort of wounded animal games, do you is that something that thrills you? Like the fact that, hey, this is almost like whoever loses this game, their backs are going to be really up against it. This is a serious game where there's no wiggle room for us to lose these kind of games. Does that make the game feel more intense for you?
Yeah, I don't think like that. You said the word lose 4 times in your question, so I mean that's not in the thought process. It's week 7. I think it's important to, we understand, who we're getting ready to play, where we're playing them. They're going to be lined up. They're going to have 48 guys, just like we will. We'll have 49 with the third quarterback. But yeah, we just got to play well, and we got to play very well. We're going on the road, something we've done. So far at a high level. So we need to improve from our last opportunity, and that's really how tight the focus needs to be. So wounded, not wounded. I mean, you're always wounded at some level in this game. And injuries are part of it. We both have have lost some guys. So hopefully, I'm hoping these next 2 days bring some good news. We can get a guy or 2 back. That'd be nice, but at the end of the day, we need to go out and play, play the football that we're capable of playing, especially on the road.
Speaking of a guy or 2 back, tell us the status of those guys.
Yeah, who do you want to talk about?
Well, how about Micah first and foremost? What do you need to see from him?
Mike would have to practice on Saturday to play, and so far he hasn't practiced, so he's still working in the rehab group.
Anybody else that we can count on? Any hope?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at all the guys, Eric Kendricks, Deron Bland. So, all those guys are working towards, having a chance, but it'll come down to the Saturday practice.
Okay. When it comes to a couple of questions that I have to ask, the curtains, Coach, and the sun, at some point, is that ever going to be addressed, or is that just one of those things?
talking about it
in the stadium, the 325 sundial effect that we get about twice, 3 times a year in October. That is just, I know it's a happenstance. You never know when to, but it did happen again. We got balls lost in the sun in an indoor stadium. It just seems something that we can fix. Let's put some curtains up.
Okay, noted.
I know you probably noted it too, but at some point.
Hey, Coach, when you guys deal with, I mean, obviously you want to kind of disconnect a little bit during your bye week, but when Jerry made the news that he made right after that last Lions game, did it kind of crank up the scrutiny on your team during the bye week? Do you feel like?
Yeah. See, I think just like anything, I mean, evaluation here, and frankly, it's always been this way, regardless of the external or the amount or the volume or the intensity of the external conversation. So no, I mean, no, I thought our staff did a really good job of just staying after it and keeping it about football, and I think that the players came back with a good fresh attitude, and like I said, we got able to get some guys healthier. So no, I think you got to keep the focus tight.
Coach, you a baseball fan paying attention to the World Series?
Not yet, but I have a good friend that works for the Yankees, so yeah, we're looking forward to the series.
That is head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Coach, best of luck to you this week out there in San Francisco. This is a big test for you guys, and it could easily be a game-changing win for you. Hopefully, we're talking to you in a good mood next week, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank you.
There you go. That is head coach Mike McCarthy. All guests appear via the Buyers Barricade guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. And, of course, Coach McCarthy always brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. It's going to be this is a real test for the Cowboys. If they lose this game, and the coach doesn't want to say it, but man, if they lose this game, it certainly feels like their backs are against the wall. We'll talk about the Cowboys next. We'll hear from Dak Prescott and get into what this game looks like. It is the Morning Huddle.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This
Hey, Vic.
TFM Floresville. 94.1 San Antonio Sports
Hey,
Star.
can we make sure that Rob mutes
550
his stuff? Like I can't during the break, my iPad is making noise, and I don't know why it's doing it now. It wasn't doing it earlier.
Road work is causing some delays in the Schertz area. 35 southbound Schertz Parkway to 1604. Roadway reduced to one lane. That's a 12-minute delay. Stop and go from Wiederstein. We've got several construction zones along the way. And I-10 upper level eastbound Woodlawn to Frio Street. Bridge joint repair work, so roadway still just one lane. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save
I can hear
money
you.
on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those
But I can
people
still
are
hear the
probably
signal in the iPad. Why am I hearing that?
What are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
George gets justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more.
Then what I'll probably do is just X out of this when we're doing the show.
Unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
House of Cards and Collectibles is having a huge 10th anniversary sale this Saturday. Thousands of unsorted sports cards will be on sale along with discounted card supplies. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, and Lorcana will also be sale priced. Bring the kids for the costume contest, take pictures with Pikachu, and free door prizes every hour. Remember, this Saturday, doors open at 12 noon. House of Cards and Collectibles at 2105 Vance Jackson. See you there.
Having trouble finding that luxury timepiece you've been dreaming about? You might be surprised to find it at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct now invites you to our exclusive luxury watch collection, now stocked with some hard-to-find brand new and certified pre-owned Swiss timepieces. At Diamonds Direct, our buyers have been scouring the country finding the watches you can't get anywhere else, including a fabulous collection of new and pre-owned models in immaculate condition from Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Richard Mille, and more. We've got Rolex Submariners, Datejust, Pepsis, Batmans, and other hard sought-after models. So if you're tired of waiting for years to get that luxury watch you've been wanting, stop waiting. Walk out with it today at Diamonds Direct. And if you have a fine Swiss watch you want to sell, our buyers are always willing to pay top dollar. Maybe it's time for a trade-in or trade-up. Come and see the all-new luxury watch collection at Diamonds Direct. Get showroom directions, hours, and learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Proud to call Alamo City home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist?
Huh, you don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't.
Okay.
So you get your own RV.
Can you, is there a way to take
Never heard.
Wow.
the program out of the second
When you do
screen
get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive
That's
Casualty
right.
Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Okay.
This season,
Can you hear it? Like, is it echoing when
Inspires
I'm
joy. The
when we're
XPS
talking?
16 from Dell Technologies with Intel Core Ultra processors help
Okay.
unlock AI
I think
possibilities.
during the
Shop
break,
now at
during the, segment, I'm gonna
Dell.com/deals.
just put my iPad off to the side because I don't have any.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio for my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, NA member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The San Antonio Spurs fell in their season opener to the Dallas Mavericks 120-109. Wemby brought 17 in the loss. The Dallas Cowboys get back to work Sunday. They take on the San Francisco 49ers in the game of the week. Game you can catch live right here. The 14th ranked Aggies welcome into LSU to College Station. Kickoff at 6:30. A game you can catch live right here. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Good morning, everybody.
There we go. Hey, did you notice that Debbie, our traffic gal, did you notice she said Happy Friday?
That's the electric lady for you.
Did you like that? Happy Friday? She's just seeing a lot of like that.
It's not the manliest thing to say.
That's okay. I'm listening.
We're accepting of all, but I mean, if I walk into my boys' room and say, "Hey, everybody, get up! It's Happy Friday," my boys would throw something at me.
If you were to rank me amongst the like 500 manliest guys you've ever met, am I even on the list? I don't think so.
No,
probably not.
Primarily, I'll tell you why. In the last segment, see the behind the curtains, we're using a series of an array of cameras for us. We're in a variety of other places. And one of those cameras during the McCarthy interview, AJ laid on the floor. So during the entire McCarthy interview, as you guys were listening to what was a spellbinding interview with news breaking everywhere from a guy that was more guarded than a clam, I was staring up at AJ's crotch.
I was trying. It was. I could. My iPad wouldn't shut up. I could hear like an echo. And it was driving me crazy. So I had to get rid of it.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you got shorts on. Let's just be happy that you actually weren't going.
I was just kidding about not wearing pants, but yeah,
I was like, what am I? Oh.
Yeah, I didn't consider that. That would have been. That would have made it extra funny. No. Well, thanks to Mike McCarthy for joining us. Although, again, didn't want to give a whole lot.
No, man who had seen other things all week long and just ready to go play football.
I think that's the key. He's just, and listen, man, I can't blame the guy. I would be beat down if I were him too. I'd want to focus on the football aspect too. But it's funny when he did say, like, I don't like drama.
I fell out of my chair.
Like, dude, what did you think this job was? That's like me saying, I don't really like, talking.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
there's other jobs. I mean, there's other places for you to go. You don't have
a place for you to be working. No. Yeah. I that was kind of, this is what coach has been after a loss all year. After a win, we get a little bit more pep in his step. After, like, he can pretend like he's over the Lions loss. There's no way he's over that Lions loss. That's the kind of loss that he's going to remember probably for years. But to act like, we're moved on from that. There's no way this team has moved on from that. It's just, you can't move on that quickly. You can't from a loss like that.
His owner had to help
exactly
through it. So, but the good news is this isn't McCarthy's first rodeo, and he does have a very good history post-bye. He does have a way of getting through these 2 weeks, and normally, in most of his coaching career, he's gone into the bye with questions, with issues, and they've normally come out of it and made a nice little midseason run. I don't think he's dealt with injuries at these positions and in situations with his defense and offensive line like this before, because there was always enough around to kind of go and use to patchwork. You might not have been able to run, but you could certainly throw. The defense couldn't stop the run, but they could intercept every fifth possession. They're pulling an interception out of the air. They were able to overcome some of those things. And this year, there's just so many holes in the boat.
We got to hear from Dak Prescott yesterday, and I wanted to play some of his sound. Here's Dak talking about the first 6 weeks and what he thinks has gone right or wrong so far this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you go back and you look at those 6 weeks, and I guess you can say, you clean your house and you figure out, where you got what you've done wrong, what you need to get better, what haven't you done. And I would say it was great. Obviously, it was tough when you put those 6 games out there. Obviously, 3 wins, which is good, and the way that we've been playing, I guess you can say. And then obviously those 3 losses were tough, especially 2 of them. You know what I mean? Just completely lopsided. That we've got to do better playing complementary football on offense, whether it's keeping the ball, converting third downs to keep our defense off the field, starting faster, scoring touchdowns. The things all the stats say. And so then it was about, finding the solutions, and credit to the coaches, credit to every player looking at themselves and figuring out where they can do better individually to help their units and ultimately the team.
Okay, so clean your house. And listen, I know Dak's trying to be positive. Hey, 3 wins, so that's good. 3 losses, that's not as good. Now, we get that. But I think what he said is, and I said this at the beginning of the season, Rob, if you break the season down into 2 phases, pre-buy and post-buy, like, there should be sort of a reset here and clean your house and figure out what went wrong early. I think Cowboy fans had hoped for 4-2 leading into the bye, but 3-3 it's not the end of the world. It's just the way the 3-3 happened. The 3 losses were just absolute beatdowns, and that is the part that I think has Cowboy fan most concerned.
Well, okay, let's look around the league. Of everybody that held out, is anybody back? I mean, so we saw in Cincinnati, it was a hold in, but not.
Yeah.
Chase, would we say he is 100%?
Jamar Chase is playing fantastic football.
So
Yeah,
he's made it in. He's on page with Joe.
Yeah,
and I think
no doubt.
About a week ago, but there was some questions.
Yeah,
Brandon Ayuk, he's done for the year, but he never really,
he was never really right.
And CD the same way. Are we going to just from here on out, if a wide receiver holds out, don't expect much the first half of the season? I mean, can we just go ahead and put that in the bank from here on out?
No, I think it's certainly more likely than not. And I don't know how much of it is on CD. I don't know how much of it is on Dak. It's really hard to tell. But they did ask Dak about his connection with CD and where they think they're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to look at camp and you think about that. You can call it an excuse or whatever, but it just goes into, right, as I said, being consistent, whether it be, my read or his route, then us say communication up front, but communication there. When you haven't had that time in camp, you've got to be able to communicate through things, which obviously some of these meetings have been adjusted to make sure that those happen a little bit more in depth, I guess you could say, not that they weren't happening before, and just a little bit more in detailed. And guys are owning every bit of it and looking forward to getting that going. I can just tell you now it's been better in these last couple of days.
Oh, last couple of days. That's good.
Well, that's promising.
What?
Oh,
issue. Last couple of days.
Everything's fixed now.
Week 7.
Forget those first 6 weeks. We've had a couple days of positivity. And then finally they asked Dak about his play specifically. Like how does he judge what he's put on the tape so far?
Yeah, I'd say both. I'd say I've played average, and average isn't good enough right now. By any means. I mean, it's never been good enough for me, so I can't say that I've been happy or excited after any of these games that I've played. But understanding that there's more plays out there for me to make, whether it's in the design or not. I'm capable of it. Sometimes you get going early in the season and you want to feel, I guess you can say what you need to do in your team out that, I feel like I've got that great feel now, and I understand what I need to do more. It's not about playing perfect, which Calvin's alluded to time or two, or Clarence, excuse me, whichever one said it. Yeah, it was you, Clarence. You said I need to play perfect. I keep receipts like Dion said. Yeah, and so I'm damn sure I can just play better for sure, and expect to, preparing to. And it's been a great week of practice, looking to finish it off and go out there and do it.
AJ, what do you make of Coach? Well, no, actually, Jerry mentioned it. I tried to get it up to McCarthy about play design. What do you make of that? Do you think there's an issue with just the design of the plays?
I don't know. I mean, he McCarthy said that stuff happens during the off season. I do think that there is something to the guys who seem to do this the best, and Mahomes is a great example of this, and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They are guys who, when the design play doesn't feel like it's going to work, find something that's going to work. Okay, this guy didn't get open the way we thought he would on paper, because football's not played on paper. So you can draw something up on a grease board and say, okay, this guy's going to be here, this guy's going to be here. It doesn't always work that way. And those guys, those top tier guys, seem to find a way to make chicken salad out of chicken bleep, if you know what I mean. When the play design doesn't work out, that's something that Dak is struggling with, and he addressed it there. He's like, when the design doesn't allow me to do it, I need to be better. He's right. I think that is a big flaw of his right now. One thing he did say was, average isn't good enough. Dude, you're the highest paid football player in the world, in the history of the football game. You are making the most money ever. Yeah, I don't think average is good enough.
Well, I mean, just because he's getting paid like he's better than Mahomes doesn't mean he is. I mean, that's the sad part of the paycheck, is you're now expected to live up to the dollars, and he was never going to be capable of that. How much of this do we put on Shoddy? How much? Seriously, I mean, I think there's been a little bit of extra attention put on play design and play call. Is there something to the fact that maybe the plays are designed with a better offensive line and involved with this?
I think certainly that's part of it, but Mike McCarthy's fingerprints are still on this offense as much as Schottenheimer. So I don't know who you blame. And if you want to go to the other side of, there's enough blame to go around for everybody right now. On this coaching staff, amongst the players, there's enough blame to go around. Like, if I said, what player has exceeded your expectations so far this year? Like, can you think of one? Like, is there anybody offhand who's like, yeah?
No, not one. Not one player Well, no, I will say we've had shining moments from DeMarvin Overshown. I think Overshown is the only dude I can say, you know what? I'm happy if this guy's here.
Man,
Everybody else
it's
doesn't
like
care.
if you had said this is the level I expect him to play at, no one's hardly anyone's met that level. And that dude, it's hard to win football games if your guys aren't competing to their level. And I mean, Dak is certainly the top of that pile. Micah's when Micah's been on the field, he's been impactful, but he just hasn't been on the field enough to say he's looking great. I think anybody in the secondary, I don't think any of them thought they were going to be as poor as they've been. I don't think anybody on the offensive line thought they'd be playing the way they are. So it's just nobody's exceeding or even meeting expectations. This is what you get. And, you're going to get your ass kicked sometimes if you don't meet expectations or exceed them. This game is so fascinating to me because if the Cowboys can't beat this version of the 49ers, the Cowboys just aren't very good. That's what we need to that's what we're going to have to realize. If they can't beat the 49ers in this form, if they lost to the 49ers at full health, I'd say, the 49ers are better. That's no big deal. What the Cowboys will have on the field this Sunday should be better than what the 49ers have on the field on Sunday.
Do you think?
And especially if this is an
Wait,
ass whooping.
How do you think that the Cowboys roll in with better? At what positions?
The Cowboys should be better at quarterback.
I think that we would beg to differ. Most people look at Purdy as a better quarterback.
So far this year, Brock Purdy's not been good.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I do think that just because they're banged up, we don't look at this roster and go, well, they're banged up and they're not it. I think they're even banged up. They're deeper than we got.
The Cowboys should be better at wide receiver. Especially given the way things are looking right now, they should absolutely be better at wide receiver. And they should probably be better on the front of the defense. I don't know that they will be, but they should be. And
I think it's a pretty even fight.
Then that's what I'm saying. With things the way they are right now, it is a pretty even fight. At full strength, I don't think it's an even fight. I think the 49ers at full strength are way better than the Cowboys.
That part of this is they are beat up, and it's still a pretty even fight.
And that's why I'm saying if the Cowboys get their ass kicked by this in a even fight, the Cowboys just aren't good. That's what it'll boil down to. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about our expectation for the Cowboys in this game coming up next. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I got to tell you guys about my friends over at Karbach Brewing. And that's one of the things. You can find Karbach occasionally out here in Nevada, but it ain't everywhere. And that's the thing about Texas is you probably don't realize it, but Karbach is damn near everywhere. It's going to be in your grocery store. It's going to be at the liquor store. But I'm talking about bars and restaurants. When you're out and you're used to drinking the same old, they probably have Love Street. They probably have Hopadillo. And these are fine, fine beers that are going to just be a level above what you're used to drinking. So when you're out in these restaurants, ask if they've got them. They may say no. If they do say no, say, why don't you have these? Why do you have only this same old junk? Give me some good beer in here. That Love Street Blonde is their best seller in San Antonio. I think it's their best seller in the whole state. It is a super easy drinking blonde Kolsch style ale, good for any occasion. And that Hopadillo IPA, the hop monster that you see on it, that's what it is. It is a hop monster. It is a very hoppy IPA. Rob's dad doesn't go for IPAs. Hopadillo is not the beer for him. And then Crawford Bock, you'll notice it with that striped can. To me, it's one of the perfect beers for any occasion. Just smooth, easy drinking, but is also a full flavored beer. So check out Karbach next time you're out and about. Ask your bartender, ask your server, hey, do you guys have any Karbach? And step up your game a little bit. I promise you're going to enjoy it.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then
Showtime on the Morning Huddle. We've been talking Cowboys, and I guess it's no time like the present to look at that game, Rob. What do you think? What do you think we see on Sunday? Do we see the same old nonsense that we've been seeing? Do we see the Cowboys get blown out, or do we see them put up a little fight after the break?
You can only and both teams are coming in. But I do think the off week is going to help the Cowboys. Now, whether they're capable of winning, it's going to come down to some plays from some guys that we don't expect for them to win. I do think it's going to be tight. I like it close. I don't know if it's going to be low scoring, but I do like it close. I think the Cowboys got a shot here. I think there's some of the GARP mentality that eventually you're going to beat them just because you played them enough. And they certainly know each other. Purdy is as bad as he's ever been, and he's as short as ever been. But I don't think the Cowboys can stop even their backups. I still think there's going to be some points scored in this game. It's just a matter of, it's not a who has the ball last, but who's playing best in the fourth quarter. And I think the Cowboys are probably in a better position to do that just because the rest and preparation factor.
I think, man, I think you hit it on the head. This is the perfect spot for Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, getting a wounded San Francisco team when you've just had extra rest. And that's why I say if the Cowboys get their ass kicked here, this is just a wasted season. Like we can forget about, you know, what they're going to do for the rest of this year because this year's essentially over. And I know it'd be only 3-4, but if you can't win these games, you're not winning playoff games. You're not winning meaningful games. And the truth is the Cowboys haven't won a meaningful game yet this season. It doesn't feel like it.
You've made a great point right there. It's the meaningful games that matter, that the Cowboys have just been unable to consistently win. They win games, but those that matter that really seem to be pivot points, whether it's to get into the playoffs or to get a home field or to, you know, the things that really, or just to take on a rival that you just need to plant the flag and prove we're here. We're not going anywhere. Those games have just consistently come up short. Both of them have involved Dak. Both of them have involved McCarthy. All of them, you know, there's the usual suspects. At some point, one of these guys is going to have to step up and do it. And there's no better time than this week. And I do think that there is a blessing in adversity. I heard Spoelstra talk about it with Miami a couple of years as they were making a run. He goes, you know, the season sucked. It was awful. But, you know, it made them tougher. The adversity and us against the world mentality, there's a reason why coaches from high school to, you know, the highest level of pros use that. It's because it does work, that no one believes in you but you. And I think McCarthy has had the situation, or at least the opportunity, to use that more this week than he ever has.
Well, the Cowboys have they've played 2 games so far, and this is going to be their 3rd game against teams that at least coming into the season were considered Super Bowl contenders. The 4 teams that were the favorites coming into the season to win the Super Bowl: Kansas City, San Francisco, Detroit, Baltimore. Those were the 4 favorites. The Cowboys were right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've had these measuring stick games, they've had 2 of them so far. And in both games against the Ravens and the Lions, both home games, mind you, where you should have the advantage, they got absolutely destroyed.
Yep.
These measuring stick games, like I don't care if you beat the Saints by 25 points. You know, or lose to the Saints by 25. I mean, that's not ideal, but that's not a measuring stick game. I don't care if you beat the Giants by 5 points. That's not a measuring stick game. You had 2 measuring stick games. You got crushed in those games. This is a measuring stick game, even against a diminished 49ers team. If the preseason goals of, you know, being a Super Bowl contender are real, you have to show up against these other teams that are considered Super Bowl contenders. And quite frankly, this is one of the last opportunities. I think now the way the Eagles and the Bengals have played, I'm not sure what those 2 teams are. I think those teams have been looked at as like kind of your peers coming into the season. And maybe they still are your peers. And the Texans, those are the games left against what I would consider like higher level teams after this game. But if you lose the first 3, what's it matter if you go, you know, 3-1 in the last 4 because it's like your season's out of reach at this point.
Well, I agree to the extent that if I was a coach with a comfortable long contract and knew that I would be around next year as we were
fixing, you don't have that luxury.
No, this is not over until it is indeed over. They're going to push to the bitter end, because I think, just like McCarthy and his staff know, there's a lot of players on this roster that know that the blowout will begin the moment the last whistle is blown. So I do think that they're going to push through, and it is, again, they're 3-3. Yeah. There's 10 teams in the NFL right now that would kill or die to be at 3-3. That there is the opportunity to maintain 500 football, considering as bad as they've had their ass kicked when they have lost. The Cowboys are always going to be a half empty kind of a team. But there's a lot of fans look at 3-3 considering what has happened and go, man, I'm shocked we're even at this level. So let's carry on and hope there's some more good luck, which is hard to even imagine. But here they sit, considering everything that's happened. They're a 500 football team going against a losing team that is, in as bad a shape or worse than you are. It could be a lot worse, though it doesn't feel like that today.
It doesn't. And that's because those measuring stick games, you've looked like a donkey. And it's really like you look back and you say, okay, well, who have we beat so far? You beat Deshaun Watson, you beat Daniel Jones, and you beat Justin Fields. Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson, and Jared Goff made you look stupid. There's a pattern here.
And the last time we actually had a measuring type game, the Detroit game, they won, but it wasn't, it felt like, well, we stole it. We really didn't win it. They lost it, kind of thing. And it came back to haunt them against a team that felt like they'd been robbed. So I can't remember a game except for just about this time last season, the week after the bye, when things looked rough, the turnaround came. And I think the majority of the staff and everybody else is hoping against hope. But, the same hope that they'll turn it around, given their standard, what they've done in the past, was the hope that the offensive line would find a way to mesh. It was the hope that the running backs, Dowdle or Vaughn, would step forward. It was the hope that all these things would happen, because that's all you had was a hope, a wish. There's no guarantee this is going to happen. They're hoping everything comes together, but they haven't proven to me that hope is enough.
If we chop up this season into 3 parts, and we say they're about to start part 2, which is bye week to Thanksgiving, and we say they went 3-3 in the first part, their next 5 at San Fran, at Atlanta, home Eagles, home Texans, at Commanders. What in your mind is
preseason? I circled 4-2.
Okay, and then the Giants on Thanksgiving. I think
the next segment. I think that's Thanksgiving begins the last segment of the season.
So then this middle 5 games, then what's your if you're saying in those 5 games, if they go 3-2, it's a success. So they'd be sitting at 6-5. That's
I think
very good shape.
This way. Now, unfortunately, there were a couple losses in that first half that we didn't expect, but I did think. It wouldn't have been outrageous to go 4-2 in here and be a happy Cowboy fan. It wouldn't have been. If we'd have been sitting here at 4-2, which would have been not that far away, despite all the issues, we're 4-2 looking forward at a San Francisco team that's beat up, a Washington team with a whole bunch of questions. The Texans, I didn't look at that as a win. I think the Texans are a better football team, and they got a chip on their shoulder above and beyond just being the Texans. They're playing the Cowboys, so I think they're going to bring it. So I didn't look at that as a win. And Philly, you might beat them, you might not, but I didn't think it was that important. I'm just chasing record and trying to get themselves to, a 10-7, which is where I thought they might be. Maybe.
That's the worst part, though.
11-6 kind of thing. But
as the season's gone on, games that I thought were gimme games for the Cowboys just aren't anymore. Like that, the game against the Commanders. That's like, in my mind, the Cowboys were sweeping the Commanders. Like in my mind, I thought, okay, the Cowboys are going to win 2 against the Commanders, 2 against the Giants, and let's say they split with the Eagles. Now you're talking about 5-1 in division. It's really hard to screw things up after you go 5-1 in your division. But
there's still time to do that, AJ.
Doesn't it feel high in the sky now? Doesn't it feel
it's like I said, it's one of those. those wishes, those expectations that you think if all things fall right, they will happen. But so far, in every one of those wishes that the Cowboys have kind of pinned, we need some extra help above and beyond us. Every one of them has fallen through. The defensive line hadn't worked. Offensive line, they're young and hadn't meshed. They haven't been able to find a running game. And they finally get their wide receiver in the building, but they can't find a way to get him the ball. So every wish hasn't turned out, but those wishes remain, and they're still attainable.
Yep. All right. When we come back, we'll start digging into the rest of the NFL. I got to tell you about SA Card House, located 281 in Bitters. Just a premier location, and it's the San Antonio's premier card house. They've got a great tournament going on Saturday. They call it their bankroll builder. They do it the last Saturday of every month, and a $25,000 guaranteed pot. Dude, it starts at 2:00. Get down there, get your hands on a chunk of that. We're talking about it could make your whole year right there, buddy. You win a tournament like that, walk out with an extra 10 grand in your pocket. You're going to be a happy man. This is the premium poker experience in San Antonio. Open 7 days a week. Great vibe, great atmosphere, and clean. I'm telling you, I'm out here in Vegas. I'm not even considering going to a poker room while I'm here because it's just not. Listen, you come to Vegas, you're used to certain things. I much prefer the atmosphere at SA Card House where it's clean. They're going to bring great food to me at the table, bring great drinks to me at the table, and there's just good people there. All skill levels are welcome. It's a good time. Check them out online, sacardhouse.com, or follow them at SA_cardhouse on the socials. See when the tournaments are happening. And get out there Saturday for that bankroll builder, $25K guaranteed, only at SA Card House.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And dive into the NBA today at 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Sports Star. That's right, baby. Morning Huddle 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Talk the NFL. Let's look at what's going on in the rest of the league and see if we think there's any big ones happening this weekend. The Baltimore Ravens are at Cleveland. Rob, I think Cleveland is better with Jameis Winston than they were with Deshaun Watson. I think we see an upgrade here from Cleveland.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter, but we're talking about Cleveland being an 8-point home dog to Baltimore. I don't see it that way. Division in division, it's hard to be a big home underdog. I think Cleveland is going to make this a game. I think you see some new life out of Cleveland, actually.
It's not so much about Cleveland. They can't get worse. And, get running back and they get a wide receiver healthy and everything's kind of, quarterback that might be able to deliver the ball. Yeah, they're going to be all right. They're going to be better. But have you seen Baltimore lately? That's a pretty damn good football team. And it ain't that hard for them to run away from you. It's not like they have to try hard to score a bunch of points. Their run game is what kills you. So before you know it, the quarter's gone and you're down by 14 and you snapped the ball 6 times, and I'm afraid that Cleveland, they're going to look better and they might even move the ball a little bit, especially in the fourth quarter when Baltimore tends to hang things up. But I don't know, man, maybe that's where you get your 8, but I think they're far better than 8 points.
Maybe, but on the road this year, they've played with fire. They've let worse teams hang around.
I agree. That's why
the Dallas Cowboys.
And you're a better one at this. But I just look at what I've seen from Baltimore and what I know they're capable of and what I've seen Cleveland and what I'm not sure they're capable of, both good and bad. Man, oh, man, this is one of the top 3 teams against one of the bottom 3 teams.
Do you realize that the Ravens have only won 2 games this year by double digits?
It's that fourth quarter, I saw the Cowboys come back on them. I've seen them kind of relax, but I also feel like if they just decide to play 4 quarters, I don't know how many snaps Jameis and this offense even get unless it's after a 40-yard, 24-mile-an-hour touchdown run from Derrick Henry.
The Detroit Lions, 11.5-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans. Dude, I'm normally all for playing. Almost 9 times out of 10, I'm looking at the dog here. The Titans did the dumbest thing ever when they told me that Will Levis is still their starting quarterback. This team is dead with him at quarterback. And the Lions are a team that I can trust to go out and humiliate you. We saw them do it. So I can't back the dog here. I think the Lions probably blow this Titans team out.
So you're going to give Jameis Winston more respect than my man Will Levis.
Dude, Jameis Winston is better than Will Levis. Yeah. Yes. I don't think you're grasping how bad Will.
Who's selling mayonnaise?
That is, Jameis doesn't sell mayonnaise because he would just steal it.
He gets crab legs, right? Isn't that
what that's right? Yeah,
crab legs.
Yeah. You think Tennessee can hang in this one?
Smoke them. They're going to smoke them and hang them out to dry. Are you kidding me? The whole football team knows Will Levis needs to sit down. You're not the only one that's been preaching the Mason song. They know it. Every player knows it. So, you're going into the game knowing, well, we're going into it. We lost D-Hop, and we're still playing Levis. Yeah, this is going to be a beatdown.
Green Bay is at Jacksonville. Green Bay has been it's sort of a roller coaster, but things are rolling well for them right now. Obviously beating the Texans. They just beat the Houston Texans. That's a good win.
They had to fight like all get out at home to do it. I mean, the Texans, but for a play or two, would have rolled in there and beat them.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I'm not saying Green Bay loses this one, but this one has the air of a kind of a trap because Jacksonville,
I agree 100%.
Second half we saw, that was as good as they can play. And if they bring that activity, they might have a shot here.
Well, that's the hard part to parse on this is the only teams that the Jags have beat this year are the Colts and the Patriots. The other games that they were close in were the Dolphins and the Browns.
The Don't bring up facts to ruin a good storyline.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm with you though. I think the Jags at home, I think they show a little fight here. I think they hang in this game. The Colts are at the Texans. The Texans are 5-point home favorites. In the history of this Colts-Texans rivalry, the Texans have swept the series once.
Yeah.
One time ever. And that was 2016. The Colts, they're worse with Anthony Richardson. They just are. But I've got to believe they're going to find a way to keep this game close.
Yeah, they're not going to win. But there's some kind of mojo the Colts bring into Houston. They always have.
They own the Texans historically. They do.
I don't know what it is. I don't expect it to linger to a loss, but I do expect it to linger to a close game. And that with Anthony Richardson, they might not be better, but they're different enough to kind of throw you off defensively. And I think that's enough to keep them close.
Jets are 7-point favorites at New England in a game with a low total, 41 points. I think the sneaky thing that's happened with the Jets is people haven't realized that not only has Aaron Rodgers been bad, their offensive line hasn't been very good. Their defense has not been very good. I don't think the Jets should be 7-point favorites on the road to anybody. I'm going to take some points with Drake May this weekend.
I'm with you. Here's the thing, that this is the game for the Jets to get right. You're not going to get a better opportunity than right now. And if you can't at least point your boat in the right direction, it is over. I do think the Jets are going to come and bring everything they've got, and Devontae's going to see a lot of balls this week. But I think you're right. They're just undermanned. They're going to win. They're going to beat them, but they're not going to beat them by a lot.
The Eagles are at the Bengals. Bengals 2.5, 3-point favorites, depending on where you look. I think the Bengals beat the snot out of the Eagles this week. I think that the Eagles have they've looked better the last couple weeks, but it's real easy to look good against the Browns and the Giants. And
on paper, other than the Cowboys 49ers, which has other stuff bringing to bear, this, when the schedule was made, looked like one of those, this is the premier game other than the football night in America. But this is low key an important game for both. They both got to get this, and they're both healthier. So it should be a well played, almost playoff type football game in my mind.
No, I agree. I think this one and the Buffalo Seattle is the other game that's in that conversation. But I do think that the Bengals are a dangerous team. I think people think about what they were early in the season, and that's not them. Their offense is a monster right now, and the Eagles just seem like they don't have a plan. It feels like their plan is to just pray that they're within a yard on fourth down, and they can push. They don't on first, second, third down. They don't have any plan. There's no organization. I think the Bengals might blow them out in this game. So yeah, I like the Bengals here. Falcons are 2.5-point favorites at the Bucks. Obviously,
I hate them. I don't understand them. I never will understand them.
I mean, obviously, this number revolves around the availability of players for the Bucks. This would not be the Bucks would be home favorites if Godwin and Evans were healthy. And normally non-quarterbacks don't move the line that much, but the fact that they both play the same position makes a big difference. I still think there's probably a little bit of value on the Bucks. I do. But because I'm certainly not going to bet the Falcons as road favorites here, but I don't know that I want to back the Bucks because I don't know what they're going to look like. I don't know who's going to catch. I guess Cade Otton's going to catch a bunch of footballs. I don't know what else is going to happen though, so I just can't trust them right now.
I don't trust the Falcons to do anything. They could roll in and beat them by 40. They got enough. And the Bucks would have every reason to go, well, yeah, we punted this week. We just didn't have enough left in the tank. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be pretty close.
Dolphins host the Cardinals. Dolphins 4-point favorites at home, and this is all the return of Tua and the assumption that Tua is going to come back and not miss a beat. The Dolphins have been so bad this season without him. The assumption, but remember, the Dolphins weren't great with him early in the season. I'm not sure how he's going to look And now that I like the Dolphins a little when it was under 3. Now that we're all the way up to 4, I don't know that I'm looking to back this Dolphins team is outside of a field goal favorite. But this is I'm curious to see what Tua looks like.
It's going to be hard to get that team back into focus. I'm not ready. I think they're precise enough and they got enough talent to go get it, but not this week.
All right, when we come back, we'll wrap up looking at the NFL and we'll take a look at the World Series that starts today. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLE. Must be 18. Plus, age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus award as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these than the experts at Optima Tax, most trusted tax resolution firm. Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation. Call 800-714.
or 8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller,
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? Huh, you don't say.
but she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist. That's right.
Insurance company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. Crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from Newstar 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Our heaviest delay is still going to be in the Schertz area, north side of town. 35 southbound. Sheriff's Parkway to 1604 Wheat Road there. So roadwork one lane. You're starting to slow down right around FM 3009. There are several constructions along the way. 35 southbound Road to Weaver. That's also rolling slowly. And I-10 at the level eastbound Woodlawn to Frio. Some ongoing road work. Road where we one lane. And Debbie Alcacer, KPSA, time saver traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
The San Antonio Spurs fell in their season opener to the Dallas Mavericks 120-109. Wemby brought 17 in the loss. The Dallas Cowboys get back to work Sunday to take on the San Francisco 49ers in the game of the week. Game you can catch live right here. 14th ranked Aggies welcome into LSU to College Station. Kickoff at 6:30. A game you can catch live right here. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Bar, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hour number 3 of the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with the halfway point, baby. Rolling on through. We were talking NFL and talking about the games coming up this weekend. We were agreed that outside of the Cowboys game, the Eagles-Bengals game holds a lot of intrigue, and I think the Bills-Seahawks game does as well. The Bills 3-point road favorites in Seattle. I think this might be a sneaky under game. We think of both teams as offensive teams, but I think we could see, this is two good defensive coaches. When you think about McDonald out there in Seattle and obviously McDermott in Buffalo, I think they're going to be well game plan for this. This might the Bills win this one. I think it's ugly. I think the Bills are going to blow out Seattle on the road. I think it's going to be a pretty good game.
Check your gambling numbers. What's the record this year of teams that have crossed 3 time zones? You know what I mean? Because I know what it's done to the Big Ten. I know how it's affected some of those teams that aren't used to it. This is a hell of a roadie for Buffalo.
Yeah, no doubt. But I think in the NFL, these teams are so used to it.
I agree, and Buffalo should win this game, and I do agree with the under. But I am curious what the numbers look like when teams are going from east to west, when you're playing 3 hours earlier, whether it's a 9 a.m. kick for you, if you're a noon kick, or a noon when you think it's a 3. I wonder how that's affecting them. And I agree, it shouldn't affect them much. But after I saw what was going on in the Big Ten this year, it does obviously play a role in your prep and getting things going. And that's one extra thing to keep the score low. I think you're right on the under.
So historically, the teams that are affected the most by travel in the NFL are West Coast to East Coast teams that are playing in the early game.
That's what my fear. So this is it a 3 o'clock kick?
It's a 3 o'clock kick. It's 1 o'clock out here on the West Coast. But again, normally the where it affects you more is the West Coast teams traveling the other way. Because
the other way, the East Coast coming west and having like a 9 a.m. kickoff, it's just counter to everything their body's used to.
Yeah. So West Coast, when they travel out and they're playing what they're used to being they're not used to playing 1 o'clock game. You never play a 1 o'clock game as a West Coast team at home. So they're out there like, what the hell's going on? It's like 8 a.m. on our body clock. But yeah, East to West, not nearly as punitive as West to East when it comes to the NFL. The Saints are at the Chargers, and the Saints are, to me, the Saints team is a lot like the Bucks. Who's gonna be playing? Who's showing up and playing for the Saints? Is Olave going to be back? Kamara got paid. I assume he didn't just get a bunch of money and then he's going to sit out. Is Taysom Hill back? But there's, as long as Spencer Rattler is on, under center, it's hard for me to want to back the Saints here, even though I do not like betting the Chargers as any kind of favorites, because all the Chargers do is lose close games. If you tell me it's going to be a 1-score game, I'm assuming the Chargers are going to lose. But it's just really hard to want to back the Saints here. And the Chargers do seem like they're playing better.
That's what I'm saying. And, the problem with Harbaugh's teams is he's not playing to blow you out. He's just playing to beat you. It's normally a 2-touchdown kind of, that's a blowout. And when you're playing close games, you play stupid games. Sometimes you get stupid prizes. You want to play close games. Sometimes you're going to lose those just because not intentionally kept it close, but that's your game plan. I think they're about to uncork one on New Orleans. I think that this is a wound up spring with Harbaugh where they've had some little things go right. Then you've got injuries here, weird roadies, heart issues. I think it's time for them to put it all together. At least they better and put together a full football game. And if they play a full Charger football game, I don't know how the Saints score, 1. And 2, I think they should be able to score 4 touchdowns. And, a 2-touchdown win to me is a blowout. They're due, aren't they? Shouldn't the Chargers be able to do that?
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, and that's, again, if the Chargers are worth a damn, and I'm not sure that they are, but
we'll find out if they're worth a damn, because this is the game they should be able to do it.
Chiefs are at the Raiders. You could find the Raiders 9.5 or 10-point home dogs. I bet the Raiders at 10. It's just my rule of thumb. You're talking about a 10-point home division dog, and the Raiders consistently play the Chiefs tough. And first of all, I never liked the Chiefs as big favorites. The Chiefs win a lot of games. I think the Chiefs might lose 2 or 3 games all year, but the Chiefs almost never blow you out. So I'm going to say the Raiders find a way to keep this one close. Max Crosby generally is in Patrick Mahomes' face. I think the Raiders are these are the games that they're still going to fight in, because these are the games that they get up for. They're not going to the playoffs.
The legend of Gardner Minshew. This is perfect for him. This is where he shines the most. I think they're going to have a decent game, but
they ain't winning.
I think they ain't gonna beat them. But the 10 points, I think, is doable, man. Vegas is terrible.
They are terrible.
How are they going to score any? The Chiefs' defense is really, really good.
The Chiefs are significantly better, but again, the Chiefs just do not blow anybody out.
And this is me thinking, they're a better team. That's 2 touchdowns, easy. But in Vegas, you never know. Maybe they have a night out, a little bad luck on the mahjong table. You never know.
Yeah, they just don't run away from teams. It's just not what they're built to do. The Denver Broncos, boy, if you had told me at some point Bo Nix would be a double-digit favorite in his rookie year, I would have said you're out of your mind. Yet here we are, Denver minus 10.5 hosting the Panthers. I've committed to not betting on the Panthers again, and this is a Bryce Young start. So I'm double committed to not betting on the Panthers, but there is no world in which I could bet Bo Nix to beat an NFL team by double digits. It just feels crazy. Not even this one. I can't do it, man.
Again,
because think about it this way: if you're Sean Payton, what are you doing in this game? You assume that Bryce Young is not going to do much on the other side.
I don't see how Carolina scores a point.
And that's what I mean. I think Denver just runs the football, runs the clock down, keeps the clock moving the whole time. Under 41.5 is probably the way to go on this thing.
Yes.
But I just don't see why Denver would look to get margin here. I don't know why they think they're like. I think they're just going to control the football, run the play clock down every time, and when you do that, it's hard to win by a lot of points. 10.5 points with
is there a prop anywhere on interceptions?
Oh yeah, you can get a player prop on.
I would go look
interception
on these
certainly.
Denver. I would look at if I think that the 10 is doable, but it's going to involve a turnover. It's going to involve a Denver quick score, and I think they might very well get it. Man, the fact that they're forced to bring back backup quarterback because other backup quarterback was in a car wreck, man, oh man, on the road in Denver, yikes.
They don't have passing props up for Bryce Young, only for Bo Nix.
Well, you might have a Syracuse outing.
Oh my God, Kyle McCord. 3 touchdowns to the other team. And I mean, how do you even do that? Unbelievable. But yeah, I just can't lay 10.5 points with Bo Nix. It's against my religion. Bears 3-point favorites at Washington. That number tells me that Jaden Daniels is not going to play. They can say questionable. Like the market is assuming that Jaden Daniels is out. Otherwise, I think the Commanders would be a slight favorite here. I don't trust the Bears though. I don't like the Bears. I don't want to back the Bears as favorites on the road. I'm going to avoid this game like the plague just because I don't know the status of the other quarterback there.
What could have been though?
Yeah,
could have had Caleb Jaden matchup and see some electricity. As much as you're down on Caleb, and most people are, I think he's pretty good.
No, I think he will be good. I just don't think he's that good yet.
Into it. I like Chicago here, man. I think that without Jaden, this is a team with a snake without a head. The defense is better, but I think Chicago's got a lot more to go for and a lot more eyes on them. I don't know. What's the line? 3?
3.
Oh, I think Chicago could win this. Yeah,
now, remember, Jaden Daniels hardly played at all last week, and Marcus Mariota looked pretty good.
But I know who Marcus Mariota is.
Yeah, I mean, but he's playing the Bears.
Quarterback of substance. No, I agree. But a backup quarterback of substance should be able to come in and be successful. But just because you've been around the league, you've been there. But I know exactly what Marcus is capable of. I've seen enough film on him. I'm not too worried about a week of prep with the Bears.
I think Washington's going to go with the same game plan they did last week. And Mariota played fine, but they carried the ball 37 times for 214 yards. My guess is you get a heavy dose of Brian Robinson, a heavy dose of I bet you see a lot of Marcus Mariota runs. And probably some Austin Eckler, Jerry McNichols run. I think they're going to try to control the ball. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to play in this game.
No, I think, but this is one of those. We're talking about you're grading coaches. When we talked with McCarthy earlier, by the way, he'll be back here at 9. We'll run it again. We talked about the competition between the coaches. When everything's being even, you start looking at the coaches. This is one of those coaches duels. You know what I mean? I'll be very interested to see how they try to stop stop the run and see if Mariota is dared to throw it over the top.
Major League Baseball, game 1 tonight. The Yankees at the Dodgers. We talked about this the other day. Like, did I think which way did I think this game would go? I was hoping it would go to. I thought there was going to be Yankee money coming in, and I was going to get maybe a pick 'em. Nope. Dodgers now minus 130. So it's probably out of my price range. I'm going to skip this one out, from the betting on the game standpoint. But overall in the series, like who do you feel has the edge? Who do you feel like is the better team in this series?
Well, the better team's the Dodgers. I think they're a better team. That doesn't mean they're going to win this thing. And this finally, we get a World Series. What it could legitimately come down to which of the superstars is hottest.
Yeah.
No, like legitimately, this could come down to a Judge Ohtani home run derby for 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. Because other than that, both pitching staffs are fairly close. Some rely on later innings than others, but I think the Dodgers are more talented defensively. But it's going to come down to which of the superstars play better. But if that's the case, I think that New York is more equipped to have other superstars step up than the Dodgers are.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers win this series, although it's hard for me to trust them because I never know who's going to pitch night to night for the Dodgers. Right. That's why I liked them in game 1 because I know Jack Flaherty's pitching. I feel comfortable with that. The rest of the series, there's probably going to be at least one bullpen game for the Dodgers. I hate the idea of being in the World Series and having to throw a bullpen game. That's just wild to me. But I do think the Dodgers are the better team. I've said it all year long. The Yankees are a two-man show. And in the playoffs, they've been a two-man show. It's just been a different two men because Judge hasn't been as good. But I assume in this World Series, I assume in this World Series, Judge and Soto are going to step up and be good. Although Judge has not historically been good in the playoffs, period. But you're right, Stanton has been phenomenal. But again, do I trust that to continue? A guy who's hit 210 all year, is he going to just keep acting like he's Babe Ruth? I have a hard time believing it. The Dodgers have
Mookie playing that role. Is Mookie ready to do this? Because it's going to be required.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I do think so. But I think another big deal is Freddie Freeman has had now 10 days. It seems like to recover his ankle. He had the bum ankle in that last series, and now I assume he's going to be healthy. And
no, he was equivocating the other day. I heard him 2 days ago say, "Well, you never know. I thought I felt good, and then I went out and ran, and it hurt." So I'm a little worried about Freeman.
But I just think there's just more paths to offense for the Dodgers, more consistent paths to offense. So I like the Dodgers in the series, but I do think it's going to be interesting. I think it's, as much as I don't like either one of these franchises, I'm interested to watch the games at least. I want to see, the strategy of it. I want to see who comes out on top. And I want to see Ohtani.
Yeah, it's the quintessential. We got Ohtani and Judge. There's every reason to tune to this. I just hope they give us the games worthy of the attention garnered, but just because of the names involved.
I did see a map of who everyone was cheering for, and it was New York was blue, like a navy blue, and then LA County was Dodger blue, Massachusetts was Dodger blue, Florida was Yankee blue,
of course.
And the rest of the map was red. And on the key, it said Yankees, Dodgers, hope a meteor hits. And
pretty much
the rest of the country.
Everybody hates those two,
of
but
course.
So this is the two.
Yep, this is it. So, all right.
Those teams, watch for Anthony Rizzo. Just watch how this guy plays because he's a big game guy.
Yeah. They need somebody to step up because the assumption is Judge in the playoffs is going to be Judgian, as Sterling would say. A Judgian performance by Aaron Judge in the playoffs where he goes 0 for 8. All right, when we come back, I want to dig into this Texas A&M LSU game. Rob, I want to get your thoughts. This is one of several matchups that had you told me before the season started that Navy Notre Dame was going to be a huge game. Texas versus Texas A&M was going to be a huge game. Or excuse me, Texas A&M versus LSU was going to be huge. Boise UNLV tonight was going to be a huge game. It would who would have thought this? Yet here we are. We got some surprisingly big games tonight or this weekend, and LSU Texas A&M I think is maybe the one of the bigger games in the country when it comes to the playoffs. So we'll talk about that next. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1.
Right now, as you sit very comfortably in your home, you might not be considering your tractor needs. If you're getting ready to go hunting and work on your lease, you might be thinking about your tractor needs. I want to talk to you real quick about Ewald Kubota. My friends with 11 locations around South Texas just itching to take care of you. If you've got a lease getting ready to be prepared, you need to get some corn out. You need to get hunters out to their proper locations. There's no better vehicle than a Kubota. They're the number one diesel vehicle running around most leases out there. The Kubota RTV-X is outstanding as the number one best-selling utility vehicle. And the great thing about Kubota is They've got the frame and they've got the engine and everything that goes on afterward. You decide. Customizing is great over at Kubota. And if it's time to buy and you're worried about the dollars, this is the time to do it. Right now, you can take home selected Kubota equipment with $0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. You can save yourself nearly $1,000. That's going on through the 31st. Go check out KubotaUSA.com for all the details. Rental equipment. If you're breaking ground, you need a heavy piece of machinery, and you need some help with the very best, call Kubota. They'll drop it off. You can rent it by the day, the week, the month. They'll train you up, and they'll come pick it up when you're done, making your project as cost-effective as absolutely possible. That's Ewok Kubota. Let me tell you, there's no friendlier location anywhere out there. All 11 are wanting to take care of you, and the reason it's so great to go there is, when you leave, you're walking out with a Kubota that carries a warranty, the likes of which you have never seen, and the help to back it up at every location. From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas for over 75 years, Ewok Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, it is a football Friday. Boy, I tell you what, we're going to talk a lot of Dallas Cowboys football. John Machota with The Athletic will join us at 5:15. And the Aggies with a huge football game at College Station. They'll take on LSU. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, will join us to talk about that. The Blitz starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks, the unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas, open to the public 7 days a week with a country club feel. It's football season, so book your tee times early at golfclubtexas.com and stick around and watch the games. Make Golf Club of Texas your football headquarters where you can watch every game. They'll even stay open until the end of every NFL game, including Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights. Get into the Tin Cup Bar at the Golf Club of Texas, Highway 90 at Briggs Ranch Road. Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with a front porch view of Target's Halloween deals, like Best House on the Block trick-or-treat candy starting at $5.99.
Sweet. Don't forget, can't wait to wear it costumes from $15.
Can't wait to see it. Oh, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5.
That's how I got my big toothy grin.
This week only, trick-or-treat candy starts at $5.99, costumes from $15, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Customize and save hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. After that, you can also save me, as I'm currently hanging from the edge of a cliff. To recap, number 1, customize and save. Number 2, time allowing, save me.
Shoulders separating.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the NFL. Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night football. Presented locally by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Ooh, do we got a big one tomorrow, Rob? Big one at the Thompson household, I assume, with your Fighting Aggies.
We will gather around the two for sure. Yeah, man. This is where we thought we were going to be, just not this year.
Yeah, Texas A&M exceeding expectations, certainly. But as is LSU. I think these are two teams that there was thoughts that maybe they could be playoff caliber teams coming into the season, but now it almost feels like one of them is almost certainly going to be in, I would think. And it's probably the winner of this game, right?
Well, there's still LSU's got a couple, and so does A&M. But you do get the sense that one of these teams will probably be at the very least in a championship game. In a conference championship game, just with the inside track, but the loser of that game might not make it. So I think that you have to win this game to have an expectation to get to the conference championship game. So yeah, but there's so much more to go. This is still the SEC, and there's still three upsets coming down the pike. We just don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, this is a fascinating game, and it boils down to a couple things.
Nussmeier, man, let's talk about the quarterback play, because it's going to come down to how well the LSU quarterback does, whether he throws it against this Aggie backfield that's solid. He didn't throw a quarterback against a touchdown against Arkansas, but as an Aggie, I think it comes down to how they defend Nussmeier.
See, you said this Aggie secondary is solid. I don't know that they are.
No, they're not solid.
No, I think it's the question to me is, can the Aggies get after him up front? Because that's what the Aggies are so strong on the D line, and they're going to have to make Nussmeier uncomfortable, and they're going to have to make him make mistakes, because if he gets to sit back there, he's going to pick apart that Aggie secondary. Those guys just aren't very good. That's certainly the weakness of that team, which is a good defensive team, but it's the obvious weakness is the back end. And on the other side, it really, to me, boils down to what is Connor Wegman. What I do know about LSU is this: defensively, they have been so much better than I thought they were going to be. And they hired the guy away from Mizzou, and we've seen Mizzou is now a dreadful defense, and LSU is now very strong. So they clearly made a good hire. But LSU, where they've been really strong, is stopping the run. They are going to have to take away the run and make Wegman beat them. And I don't know if I trust Connor Wegman. So for me, this game all comes down to, is Connor Wegman the guy we saw in the Missouri game, or is he the guy we've seen pretty much the rest of this season that he's played? Last week against Mississippi State, he looked like he didn't belong in the SEC. You and I talked after that Notre Dame game, like, who is this guy? Now, mind you, that's Notre Dame's defense, so it's you gotta grade it on a curve. But Mississippi State last week, if they lost that game, it would have been exclusively on Connor Wegman because he just didn't play well enough. Where are you at with Wegman? Like, how do you feel about him going into this game?
Wegman is safe as long as the play action is effective, as long as he can hold the defensive backs one way or another. Wegman is okay. Run the damn ball. Le'Veon Moss has 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games. He's looking to do things that only 2 other Aggies have ever done, multiple touchdowns in 3 consecutive days. Only Travion Williams a couple years back and Johnny Football have done it. They are running the football, and when they do run the football, despite Wegman's errors, They win football games because, one, they control the clock, and two, they allow that defense to tee off on the quarterbacks. And you said it, that front seven. Nick Scorton is an All-American. As long as he stays healthy, this guy will live in the backfield. But they're going to have to keep themselves in a position to force Nussmeier to get back there and have those 3 and 4 second hold the ball route kind of trees. To do that, they're going to have to dominate the ball and force LSU to throw it. If they lose control of the offensive line of scrimmage, the Aggies are going to lose, and that'll involve Nussmeier picking them apart.
Yeah, Le'Veon Moss has to keep them. He has to keep them ahead of the chains because I think if you get into 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, you might as well punt on 3rd down. This defense is so fast for LSU, but when they're at their best, A&M's offense is ultra physical, and they're going to be able to bump them around.
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I've heard from my Aggie underground that there have been a couple of snaps where Marcel is in at quarterback. There is a subset game plan where we might see a little bit more of a moving pocket if the situation requires. They are working on 2 quarterbacks this week.
I think I like LSU here. I bet them at 3.5, which that was a mistake number. That LSU couldn't be 3.5 in this spot. The number now is down to 1. The market is loving LSU here.
This is a home game. They're blacking out the stadium. Elko is about to become the best beginning coach in the history of A&M football to win 6 of his first 7 games. They've only lost 1. And despite what happened in the offense was slowed last week because of one dude. Everything else was turning around. The guys were open. There were lanes to run in, and they won a football game wait till you see Mississippi State close out this season. They're going to win some football games. That was a much harder fought game than people give them credit for. A&M's going to win this game, and I don't think it's going to be that difficult. They're going to hang them on it. There's a sense of opportunity here, and I've loved the way that Elko has been absolutely low-key about this. There has been no talk of anything but, hey, we're just going to compete. No standing out there pumping their chest about everything that they've done. This is the reason they hired a guy like this, to keep things calm and know full well that you get another opportunity after this, but this is the biggest game that they're going to have this season up until Texas in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing this LSU team getting blown out. I will say this, though. LSU's coming off back-to-back massive games, and Arkansas is a big game. It still is a big game, but I thought maybe they were going to be sleepy last week, coming off that Ole Miss win, and they just destroyed Arkansas. I mean, they never let them have
throw a touchdown. Nussmeier didn't
have to.
Well, I'm just saying that there is an issue there. They tried, they just couldn't do it. They could run, they didn't have to throw. This looks like one of those games where Aggies uncork one. I will go the other side, though. If they don't, this is the barely adequate psycho defenses of Aggie fandom will collapse.
Well, if you guys win in like 6 overtimes, you can make cups again, and that'll be it's just like a national championship trophy.
What are you talking about?
You remember when they won 70
like that.
75 to 73?
I have no idea what you speak of.
Oh, good. It's a good thing to forget. Good thing to forget. You don't have one of those T-shirts?
We won that game.
You don't have one of those T-shirts from that week?
I don't know what you're talking about. It was all I see is a W.
Well,
my friends,
it is going to be an interesting one. All right, well,
Aggie sundown, baby, sunset with LSU coming into Kyle Field. There's just about no better place in the world to be.
All right, we'll talk the rest of the world of college football, at least the big ones, coming up on the other side. It is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we do have an accident on the northeast side on 35, southbound Thousand Oaks. Right lane blocked. This is a 25-minute delay already. Stop and go from 1604. Again, that's 35 southbound Thousand Oaks, accident right lane. I-10 on the frontage road westbound at 410, disabled vehicle blocking one lane. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, time saver traffic.
San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to sasportstar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Tickets. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an audience national contest across multiple markets. The 50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at sasportstar.com.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
What is GMTVCC? It's a mouthful, but translation for GMTVCC.com is Give Me the VIN Classic and Collector Cars. It's a brand new buying division of Give Me the VIN, but it's for classic and collector cars. Experienced pro buyers will appraise an offer on your 1970 Hemi Cuda or 1988 Fox Body Mustang or your granddad's old 1985 square body Chevy truck. GMTVCC.com is where you go to get real money for classic and collector cars to get paid now. That's GMTVCC.com, brought to you by Give Me the VIN.
George gets justice. After being hit by an 18-wheeler, the experienced attorneys of George Salinas Injury Lawyers are San Antonio's choice for getting you the maximum compensation you deserve. With over 110 years of combined experience, they've recovered millions for their clients. 18-wheelers may be bigger than you on the road, but you can be bigger than them in the courtroom. George guarantees that you don't pay unless they win your case. Call 210-225-0909 today for a free consultation. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
House of Cards and Collectibles is having a huge 10th anniversary sale this Saturday. Thousands of unsorted sports cards will be on sale along with discounted card supplies. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, and Lorcana will also be sale priced. Bring the kids for the costume contest, take pictures with Pikachu, and free door prizes every hour. Remember, this Saturday, doors open at 12 noon. House of Cards and Collectibles at 2105 Vance Jackson. See you there.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks, my daily fantasy game. In fact, mine and 10 million others are playing this every day because we know what we're doing. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money on your sports action. Join me and so many others playing every day. You know why? Prize Picks invented FlexPay, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. Look, you know your sports. How many yards is CeeDee Lamb going to get this week? Is Jonathan Taylor going to get 85 or more? You know what you're doing. Go make your play. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which players aren't? You know, you play fantasy football. Put your knowledge to work. And remember, use the code Alamo and there's $50 in it for you. Download the app now. Use Alamo. Play with your friends. It's the best way to have fun and get yourself in the game. Remember, Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can add to big payouts. Download the app today. Prize Picks. Run your game.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
Get your axe to Twin Peaks Lodge near you for the freshest menu addition. Spice up your wing order with new sauces featuring chicken tikka or spicy chili crisp. Or try our new take on famous flatbreads with backyard barbecue brisket or chicken tikka. Can't decide between quesadillas and tacos? Why should you? Grab the new quesabirria tacos featuring our in-house smoked brisket served with birria broth for that fine dipping. With 4 San Antonio area locations, there's a Twin Peaks near you. Stop by today. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and those scenic views.
Hey, James Pledger. The NBA is finally back. Play Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. It's super simple to get started. First, download DraftKings Pick 6 app. Then, select 2 or more players, like Wemby and CP3, and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. And for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use promo code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18. Plus, age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus award as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
In Minnesota, where it was minus 48 degrees, we were fogging and icing up the inside of the windshield from the moisture in your breath.
What, couldn't you just spit on it? Isn't that what you do with a mask when you go, like...
Oh, you got to give him that huck.
Just spit on the windshield and wipe it off. And
Out of your mouth.
A mask when you're going underwater.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Good slate of college football games coming up this weekend, and it starts tonight with Boise and UNLV for essentially like this is an eliminator, certainly. From the playoff, not that either one of these teams are guaranteed a shot at the playoff anyway, but the loser is out. It's 5-1 Boise travels to 6-1 UNLV. And Rob, I can't get over what happened last year in the Mountain West Championship game where I saw this same thing, Boise come to UNLV and UNLV running that go-go, and Boise had no problem with it. And UNLV had no answer for Ashton Genty, who just ran wild on them a year ago. Looks like he's running even better now. I think Boise might come into Vegas and put a stomping on the Rebels.
Not only do I think that's going to happen, I think if there wasn't a World Series game tonight, Genty would win the Heisman tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think to the point where he's going to, if he was the only show in town, and he's going to put on a show tonight, 150 easy. We're going to see the best running back in football and maybe a Heisman performance. And I don't think a lot of people are going to see it other than a final score and a stat. Because
think about that. 100. I don't know. I think this is a big game. I think a lot of people are going to be watching it. I guess it's on CBS Sports Network, so it's kind of a pain in the ass to get. But I think there will be some people tuning in. Ashton Genty, 126 carries, 1,248 yards. So he is just under 10 yards per carry, and he scores a touchdown every 8.5 carries.
How long has it been in college football since we've heard numbers like that?
Barry Sanders.
Yeah, it's been
that's what he's trending toward right now is a Barry Sanders season, which is the greatest running back season in the history of college football. It's unbelievable. Like, this is the Doak Walker Award winner already. But you're right. I think, and if Boise makes the playoff, I think that Heisman is certainly going to be under consideration. The early games, I like to call them the 9 a.m. start when I'm out here. The 9 a.m. starts out here. It starts with Corn at Ohio State. Nebraska, a 25.5 point dog going into Ohio State. And my question with Nebraska is, did they quit on the season last week, or did they just quit in that game? Because against Indiana, they quit at some point.
We're going to find out. Ohio State's got a chase. They're trying to get themselves in they're in a beauty contest now after the loss. So they got to look good. And to look good a bit against Nebraska, you got to score about 80.
Yeah.
So I get the sense they're going to press the gas.
Well,
Nebraska
Indiana did it.
Not that bad. They're not as bad as they were against Indiana. They ran.
No, I don't think so. I just think they got overwhelmed, and I think they kind of quit on themselves in that game, which is not a good thing. But
I want to see Matt Rule coach himself out of this. I'm a fan of his, but this is not the best situation he's been in.
Notre Dame is at Navy, and Navy is a 13.5 point dog. at home against Notre Dame. And I have wanted to back Navy in this spot so badly. And when I started digging into it, I just can't. Notre Dame is going to be so much more physical than them. This defense is not going to have answers for Notre Dame. Like the defensive front for Navy is going to get pushed around in this game. And the more I looked at Navy, and I'm not trying to take away anything from what they've done because it's been incredible, but they are doing it against literally the worst defenses in the country week in and week out. Bucknell, Temple, Memphis, UAB, Air Force, and Charlotte. Only one of those teams is inside the top 100 defensively, and that's Memphis. Memphis is a bad defensive team. Notre Dame, whatever we think of Notre Dame as like a playoff team or a contender, they are elite defensively. I mean, you saw it with the A&M game. Like this team is on defense, they are for real. I think Navy's going to have a hard time keeping up in this game. I'd love to back Navy here. I can't bring myself to do it.
31-10, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. As good as Navy is, they're not a national program. They don't got the jimmies. They got the execution. And if they, we saw Notre Dame fall to Northern Illinois. It's not like they can't get out executed or surprised, but the problem is that's already happened to them, and it's not going to happen again. And Navy's 6-0. They're going to get the full force of a Notre Dame depth. Yeah, I think Navy's game. I think they're going to fight hard. I just think by the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, the points are going to show toward Notre Dame, and they're going to win it going away. Though it won't feel as close, or it'll feel closer than the score shows.
Washington's traveling to Indiana, unbeaten Indiana. Indiana, a 6.5-point favorite. No Curtis Rourke for Indiana is a killer. I mean, this guy has been so good. I don't think I can back Indiana this week. I don't know that I'll back Washington unless I get a full 7 here. But the Curtis Rourke injury to me is a game changer for Indiana. I mean, this guy's played like one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the country. Almost 2,000 yards already, 15-3 touchdown to INT. He's just been phenomenal. I'm going to sit this one out. And I think Indiana, in their mind, is if we can survive this week and get Curtis Rourke back next week, they can keep rolling. But it might be tough for them to survive without Curtis Rourke.
As good as that offense is, that defense has also locked teams down. They're undefeated, not just because they've run past people, because they have. The defense is better. They're not a terrible defense. I don't think this game's out of hand because I think Indiana wins the game. I think that there's more to him than just that quarterback, though. Yeah, he is the pivot point for any kind of championship or at least playoff aspirations. But Washington, they're going into Indiana, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I give that home field a little bit.
Tough road trips, man. Tough road trips.
Yeah, crossing time zones. But more than that, I was surprised by the activity of that defense. They're not just an offensive football team, although Washington, I'm sure, is a little bit more talented.
Ole Miss is hosting Oklahoma. Ole Miss, a 20-point favorite at home. I think Ole Miss is going to absolutely destroy this Oklahoma team. Ole Miss is pissed off. Things have not gone the way they wanted to. They are now after that LSU loss, they're in desperation mode, but they've had a week off to lick their wounds. I think you get their best effort. And quite frankly, I just think Oklahoma's not good. I think they are.
What it did to them in Edmond. I mean,
dude, how wild is that? And even going back a little ways, like, remember they almost lost to Houston early in the season. The Tennessee loss has not aged as well as you thought it would. They almost lost to Auburn. They probably should have lost to Auburn. They're just not good.
This is Ole Miss is going to stomp them. I'm rooting for them to win. I just don't think they have a prayer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a fan of a fringe playoff team, you want Ole Miss out. Like because that's another. If they lose this game, they're off the list. So but yeah, I just don't. I don't feel anything good about this Oklahoma team. I think that
is there anything in the Lane Kiffin-ness of Ole Miss and Lane's history of momentum and then season crushing losses? Because Lane is every year seems to put together 5 or 6 wins, no matter what school he's at. And then there is a loss that just destroys them for the rest of the year. And I wonder if that LSU loss didn't seem like it was the end of the world, but are they exposed now? Is there anything that Oklahoma can bring? I don't think so. But if there was ever a chance for Venables to save his gig, this might be it, right?
I would think so. But remember last year they lost to Alabama, and then they followed that up with a good win against LSU.
You're right.
I'm not sure. I just, to me, I can't consider Brett Venables trying to save his job because I just don't think I think his team is quitting on him. He doesn't have the players, first of all, and the players that he does have don't seem like they're fully committed to what's going on. So there's just no way I could back Oklahoma in this spot. Oregon is hosting Illinois. Oregon are now up to a 21.5 point favorite. I like the favorite here. I think Illinois, even though they're 6-1, the 20th ranked team in the country, I think it's fool's gold. The final score against Penn State was closer than it should have been. They got their ass kicked in that game and ended up losing only by 14. Their big wins, Kansas. Turns out Kansas is no good. Nebraska, I don't know what to think about Nebraska at this point. And Michigan, I think we can all agree now, Michigan's just not good. And the Purdue win, even for Illinois, they almost blew that game to Purdue. Purdue can't beat anybody. And Purdue was a 2-point conversion away from beating Illinois. Illinois is not the 20th best team in the country. I think Oregon, you talk about beauty pageant, Oregon is putting it on everybody they get a chance to. And guess who's crept their way into the Heisman conversation? Dylan Gabriel, third in the Heisman odds. This is a good chance for him to put up some numbers. If you blow out a ranked team, you get those looks. So I think Oregon just crushes this Illinois team.
Only if Illinois doesn't put on those uniforms again. Wear that leather helmet for the rest of the year. At least I'll look forward to seeing you.
Imagine that they wear the leather helmet and Oregon wears some new age, spaceship helmets. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's the only reason to look at it. I will say this about Illinois. They are going to try to hold the ball for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
good luck.
I expect if they can manage to pull off the run game, which I don't think they can, but if they can, it might be a little closer. But Oregon sees an opportunity to kind of dot the I at number one this week. They're not going to have a lot of opportunities to hold on to it. I think this is going to be an impressive win. But don't put it past Palima to hold the ball and try to make this a 14-13 game and keep the ball out of Gabriel's hands.
Running the ball is not the way to keep up with Oregon, I can tell you that.
That's all I've always got.
BYU, number 11 in the country, unbeaten. They're at Central Florida. Central Florida, a 2.5 point favorite. I like Central Florida here. I've been waiting for BYU to stub their toe. I think this is the chance in the bounce house.
Will you give BYU any credit if they go into UCF?
No, because I've seen it enough to know that this is not real. And they play in the Big 12, so they might keep winning because the Big 12 stinks. But this team is not good, and it's just unsustainable. Like bad teams
or just Big 12 good.
Dude, they should have lost to Oklahoma State last week, and Oklahoma State is awful. I mean, if Oklahoma State makes a tackle, like if they've got a competent tackle with 10 seconds left, they win the game. They let BYU steal that game, and that was in BYU. Now they're on the road at the bounce house. I can't buy into them. I have to stick by my guns. I've watched this team enough. I don't believe in them. So now Central Florida sucks, but I'm taking Central Florida here.
I think they're going to whoop them.
Alabama, they are 18-point favorites now against Mizzou. Mizzou is a walking wounded. Nate Noel, their running back, out. Brady Cook, their quarterback, doubtful. Alabama, angry. I think that Alabama puts up a number
18
at home.
18.
Backup running back, backup quarterback for Missouri, an already bad Missouri team.
I'm not saying Missouri's good, but 18. I think they're going to try to, but Missouri 18.
But you thought Missouri was going to blow out Auburn last week, and they barely hung on to that one.
Well, yeah, they got hurt. But
now they're hurt.
I'm not worried about Missouri's. It's not about Missouri. It's about 18 points better is that Alabama offense.
Yeah.
They've lost their mojo there.
Texas is at Vanderbilt. Texas laying 18.5 on the road. Give me Vanderbilt to cover this number. Diego Pavia as a dog. That's all he does is cover these big numbers. He's won a couple of these games outright, but he is phenomenal when he's a big underdog. Vanderbilt, just bet Vanderbilt when they're a big dog. Fade Vanderbilt when they're a favorite. It's as simple as that. Florida State's
fan. No look pass. No.
I think Texas is good. I think Texas wins the game. I just think it's going to be a little uglier than they expect. Florida State's at Miami. God, Miami 21. Florida State is just dead. They're so they're so bad. I mean, I can't imagine they want to even be there. And
I think there's an upset brewing right here.
Oh my gosh! Wow. I'd love to see it.
How many times has Miami won because of another team's mistake?
Oh, guess who is going to make mistakes?
Oh, I know.
All they do is make mistakes.
But I think Miami, you can only rely on the kindness of strangers for so long.
Dude, I hope you're right. I genuinely hope that Florida State finds a way to do it because Miami is they're living on borrowed time. But yeah, Florida State sucks, man. They're pathetic.
Save your season. Knock Miami out of contention. Get them out of here.
You know what? We'll look at the last few games in the top 25, and then we'll you know what? We'll have to do that during the daily lines because we've got Mike McCarthy coming up next. If you missed the McCarthy interview earlier, we talked to him coming up next on the Morning Huddle, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This is KTFM Floresville. 1, 2, 3, Cowboys! South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Sunday night at 7:20 after a bye. It's the first of 2 road games. Dallas and San Francisco taking on the 49ers.
I like this kind of party.
Pre-game starts at 6. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota.
You asked for it, you got it. How about them Cowboys?
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. That's progressive.com/careers.
Joe Reinagle here for the Golf Club of Texas, open to the public 7 days a week with a country club feel. It's football season, so book your tee times early at golfclubtexas.com and stick around and watch the games. Make Golf Club of Texas your football headquarters where you can watch every game. They'll even stay open until the end of every NFL game, including Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights. Get into the Tin Cup Bar at the Golf Club of Texas, Highway 90 at Briggs Ranch Road. Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. A free drinking water system installed at your kitchen sink with the cleanest, best tasting water you've ever had. Better for your coffee maker, better for cooking, better for everything. Free with the purchase of a Connecticut water softener, but only for a limited time.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
And is the last water softener you'll ever own. Right now, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking water station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call us at 656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com. And tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Howdy, Ags. Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Aggies, inviting you to watch all A&M games at the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road. Owned by Chip Ingram, class of 98, the Angry Elephant is known for their liberal cocktails at conservative prices and the best hot dog in Texas. Since 2012, the Angry Elephant's been the place to watch A&M, and this year is no different. Just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Rue Pub at 281 and Redland Road. The Angry Elephant. Like your car, love your Aggies. Gig 'em.
When you buy a new house, you might say,
"Shut the front door."
Winning.
No, seriously, shut the front door. We own this house now.
But you actually need to say,
like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you choose the coverage you need.
Welcome to my crib. No one says that anymore, but I don't care.
So just remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Everyday Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-5795. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, if you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we do have an accident on the northeast side on 35, southbound Thousand Oaks. Right lane blocked. This is a 25-minute delay already. Stop and go from 1604. Again, that's 35 southbound Thousand Oaks, accident right lane. I-10 on the frontage road westbound at 410, disabled vehicle blocking one lane. Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, time saver traffic.
San Antonio Sports Center.
San Antonio Spurs fell in their season opener to the Dallas Mavericks 120-109. Wemby brought 17 in the loss. The Dallas Cowboys get back to work Sunday. They take on the San Francisco 49ers in the game of the week. Game you can catch live right here. The 14th ranked Aggies welcome into LSU to College Station. Kickoff at 6:30. A game you can catch live right here. I'm Rob Thompson on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
From the studios of San Antonio Sports Star, reaching more sports fans than any station in South Texas. Welcome to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right, let's go to the Buyer's Barricade guest line. And brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, joining us on the program. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Coach.
Listen, long couple weeks, I'm sure. Not the way you want to head into the bye. At what point do you stop licking wounds and start looking forward to what's next during your bye weeks?
Oh, I think you have to, jump right into it. I mean, I have a similar process that I've adhered to for years. So we went through it with the staff, right after in which we would have done regardless of the outcome of the last game. So that's an opportunity to grow as a football team, because you're at the end of it, you really probably just have one full day of self-scout and self-improvement that you're able to spend. So our staff I thought they did an excellent job of preparing and then taking advantage of the Monday, with just heavy self-scout, work some things on the field a little bit, and then we have a process called cross the hall. So I thought it was beneficial, but it's like anything, you got to apply it to the next game, and sort through it and put some of these things in the next game plan.
Yeah, Coach. The idea of self scout certainly has been a topic over the last couple of weeks, and that cross the hall thing, that's nothing new for you, is it? I mean, you're giving the offensive tape to the defense and the defensive tape to the offense for a lot of reasons. That's not new.
No, it's a process that I've probably done for about 15 years, and I've done it as much as 3 times a year. Hopefully twice a year.
Now, Coach, the reason I ask that is, there's been a lot of questions about plays and design and all that. How much of the play design comes out of that cross the hall stuff?
I mean, play design, and that's really what your off seasons are for. You have studies, the amount of time, energy, history, experience that goes into every play design. So we don't have any issues there.
Coach, when you look at the way this offense has flowed this season, and it doesn't really feel like Dak and CD are quite on the same page yet. How much of that do you attribute to the preseason and Dak not playing any preseason games, CD not being in camp, like their chemistry just not being what you would expect it to be at this point in the season?
Well, I think like everything, I mean, so much of my interaction in these spots is about what needs to be better, and we tend to forget to talk about the things that that we are doing well. But yes, there's no replacement for time together. I mean, I don't care what sport you're in. So particularly when you're talking about skill position that involves the delivery, the timing, and the execution of catching the ball and so forth. So we have a lot of football left. So we just keep working the things that are going to continue to show up. But I think that's the ultimate challenge in football. I mean, it's 11 on 11, and we're always fighting to get a higher connection and rhythm and timing and so forth. And and I think that's why the ability to play with so many different people in and out of your linemen is a trait you have to have in today's NFL, because things are going to change. I mean, they change every week. And the health of your football team is, you can't control it. I think it's the hardest part of our business from a personal level. When you see a young man come back from, an ACL surgery and he goes down on the field, and it's so that's the toughest part of this business. But it's something that you have to be able to continue to work through. So whether it's a camp holdout, not playing the preseason, all those things factor in. But you do have preparation that you're doing besides that. So I think our guys do an excellent job of preparation. I think our process and connection of training our football teams top notch. But we're green in some areas, and I recognize that and have no problem.
Coach,
talking about it. We just got to keep working.
I think it's interesting, the dichotomy of what you have to go through to get yourself back on track over these last couple of weeks, and then to talk about the circus atmosphere around that. Things are what they are, and you get used to things like that. Has that ever seemed like an issue at all? I mean, it kind of is, but once you're used to it, the background noise is just background noise, right?
Definitely. I think we're all built differently. We're all have, a product of our backgrounds and experiences. I'm not someone that enjoys drama. So frankly, I think I'm wired properly to work here. So I mean, I just think it's an atmosphere that there's a lot of energy in the building, and I think it's just like anything. It doesn't matter where you are. There's always something that you're going to have to deal with. I mean, there is no utopia for training, and it's actually a mechanism and a tool that is a part of what we need to do, and that's focus on winning.
Coach, you guys have a tough one this weekend on the road against the San Francisco 49ers, a primetime game. Niners are beat up, but to me, this game really is going to come down to you against Kyle more, maybe even as much as it does the players on the field, because while the Niners are banged up and limited, this is one of the best coaches in the NFL. Do you crave these chances to go up against the other guys that are considered elite guys in your business?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love to compete every day. I enjoy competing against Mike Zimmer. We have 2 competitive periods every Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, that's part of the fabric of who we are, and especially for as long as I've done it. But yeah, every one of these games is about competition. I mean, you're competing every day. But yeah, absolutely. Sunday night football out there in San Francisco. I'm looking forward to every component of this.
As you come in, Coach, against the defense that's not quite the San Francisco defense we're used to, though they're still scary. You were asked a question in your presser the other day that I found the answer fascinating about the number of tight windows that you guys have been facing. Explain to me how when you see the tight window throws and how you adapt to that, because that's some of the witchcraft that I don't think the average fan understands.
Well, I think it's just like anything when you look at statistics. I mean, you have to look at these things, deeper with video situation, because CeeDee Lamb's going to be double covered. So do you not make the tight throw to him?
Right.
And I think it's also when you see tight window throws, it's something that really illustrates what the National Football League is. I mean, I show a tape every week in the red zone that talks about all the tight throws, because we're talking about winning championship football, and I think that's another stat that you have to look deeper in filtering it, because the completion percentage within those tight throws that should tell you something too. So I just think it's a product of our game, because you don't have wide open people in this league. You may get some in early September when September football, when everybody's not clicking at a high level. But to go win against good teams, you got to throw people. You got to throw people open. You don't throw to wide open people, and that's what our league has always been.
Coach, you guys and these 49ers were both picked like 2 of the top 4 teams in the NFC preseason. Neither of you have started off the season the way you'd hope, but when you get these sort of wounded animal games, do you is that something that thrills you? Like the fact that, hey, this is almost like whoever loses this game, their backs are going to be really up against it. This is a serious game where there's no wiggle room for us to lose these kind of games. Does that make the game feel more intense for you?
Yeah, I don't think like that. You said the word lose 4 times in your question. So, I mean, that's not even a thought process. It's week 7. I think it's important to, we understand, who we're getting ready to play, where we're playing them. They're going to be lined up. They're going to have 48 guys, just like we will. We'll have 49 with the third quarterback. But, yeah, we just got to we got to play well, and we got to play very well. We're going on the road, something we've done so far at a high level. So we need to improve from our last opportunity, and that's really how tight the focus needs to be. So wounded, not wounded. I mean, you're always wounded at some level in this game. And injuries are part of it. We both have have lost some guys. So hopefully, I'm hoping these next 2 days bring some good news. We can get a guy or 2 back. That'd be nice. But at the end of the day, we need to go out and play the football that we're capable of playing, especially on the road.
Speaking of a guy or 2 back, tell us the status of those guys.
Yeah, who do you want to talk about?
Well, how about Micah first and foremost? What do you need to see from him?
Mike would have to practice on Saturday to play, and so far he hasn't practiced, so he's still working in the rehab group.
Anybody else that we can count on? Any hope?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at all the guys, Eric Kendricks, Deron Bland. So, all those guys are working towards, having a chance, but, it'll come down to the Saturday practice.
Okay. When it comes, a couple questions that I have to ask. The curtains, Coach, and the sun. At some point, is that ever going to be addressed, or is that just one of those things?
You're talking about it
in the stadium, the 325 sundial effect that we get about 2-3 times a year in October. That is just, I know it's a happenstance, and you never know when to, but it did happen again. We got balls lost in the sun in an indoor stadium. It just seems something that we can fix. Let's put some curtains up.
Okay. Noted.
I know you probably noted it too, but at some point.
Yeah.
Coach, when you guys deal with, I mean, obviously you want to kind of disconnect a little bit during your bye week,
But when Jerry made the news that he made right after that last Lions game, did it kind of crank up the scrutiny on your team during the bye week? Do you feel like?
Yeah. See, I think just like anything, I mean, evaluation here, and frankly, it's always been this way, regardless of the external or the amount or the volume or the intensity of the external conversation. So no, I mean, no, I thought our staff did a really good job of just staying after it and keeping it about football, and I think that the players came back with a good fresh attitude, and like I said, we got able to get some guys healthier. So no, I think you got to keep the focus tight.
Coach, you a baseball fan paying attention to the World Series?
Not yet, but I have a good friend that works for the Yankees, so yeah, we're looking forward to the series.
That is head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Coach, best of luck to you this week out there in San Francisco. This is a big test for you guys, and it could easily be a game-changing win for you. Hopefully, we're talking to you in a good mood next week, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank you.
There you go. That is head coach Mike McCarthy. All guests appear via the Buyers Barricade guest line. Buyers Barricades provides traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. And, of course, Coach McCarthy always brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy goes one-on-one with the Morning Huddles, AJ and Rob, Friday mornings.
You invited Dak and Coop over to the house. What Mama cooked?
She never disappoints.
Well, what was the meal? We're really curious.
Well, she had the local pizza, salads, pasta dish, chicken.
Mike McCarthy's unfiltered look at the Cowboys' upcoming game. Friday mornings at 6:45 and 9. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds on 94.1. San Antonio Sports Star.
The 149th Fighter Wing of the Texas Air National Guard is hiring both full and part-time positions with over 180 different career choices, including cyber, healthcare, communications, avionics, electronics, and more. The Texas Air National Guard offers a variety of ways you can serve. Earn education benefits that would cover tuition towards a bachelor's degree. To learn more, Google the 149th Fighter Wing. That's the 149th Fighter Wing of the Texas Air National Guard.
911, what's your emergency?
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. In San Antonio, 5 domestic violence calls happen every hour.
The time to end domestic violence in our community is now.
Step out of violence.
You are not alone.
Call 211 for help. Call 911 if it's an emergency.
Hey, James Pledger. The NBA is finally back. Play Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. It's super simple to get started. First, download DraftKings Pick 6 app. Then, select 2 or more players, like Wemby and CP3, and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat, like points, rebounds, three-pointers, and more. And for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use promo code KTFM. That's code KTFM for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18. Plus, age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus award as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
George gets justice. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, they don't just represent you, they fight for you. When life throws its toughest challenges, George and his team are there to get you the justice you deserve. And here's their promise. You don't pay unless they win your case. With a proven track record of success, they take every case personally. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Time to start planning your Thanksgiving dinner, and that starts with the turkey. And the best turkeys are from Tri-County Meat Market. Tri-County gets their turkeys from Barber Farms in Colorado. These fresh, all-natural turkeys are never frozen and come between 8 and 24 pounds. Tri-County Meat Market only gets a limited number, so reserve your turkey before they sell out. Pre-order your turkeys and your pies from the Ultimate Cheesecake Bakery now at either Tri-County Meat Market location on Heavener Road or on Welfare Road.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Extravagant, luxurious, lavish. The $7 Lux Cravings Box from Taco Bell satisfies all your crunchiest, cheesiest, sauciest cravings. Indulge in a beefy 5-layer burrito, chicken chalupa supreme, Doritos Locos Taco, and chips and a drink for an unluxurious price. It's Lux for less. Get yours today at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
I was so excited when I heard the sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
Is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
You're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home for Texas A&M football. Saturday afternoon at 6:30. It's a matchup between two undefeated conference opponents as the Aggies take on the LSU Tigers. Presented by Ewald Kubota and the Angry Elephant. Pre-game coverage begins at 5:30 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You're listening to the Morning Huddle with AJ Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
There you go. There was head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. So excited to join us, you could tell, on a Friday. He was just thrilled, wasn't he?
I think when you mentioned, he said, I counted lose. You said lose 4 straight times.
I think he miscounted.
I didn't count 4.
I counted 2.
But you said it 4 times in his brain, and we don't talk about losing.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to, man. Sometimes you lose. Everybody loses. Sometimes, except the Chiefs. And even they lost in the Super Bowl once. I remember it
vaguely. It was a distant memory.
Every show at this time, we like to go through some things that are going on in the world of non-sports.
We won't do it for long. I want to make sure we have time to find a line in the final segment.
I've found 2 stories that I found fascinating today. One is very sad, and one is ridiculous. A 14-year-old boy has killed himself. Sounds terrible, right? Florida boy. He did it because he fell in love with an AI robot. He was talking to a chatbot. He fell in love with her. The character was named after Daenerys Targaryen. And
this guy, this is so sad, but I don't get it. I don't understand how this happened.
The mom is suing the company, saying like the mom is like how do you sue a robot? I don't.
So many questions. This is so awful. I mean,
it really is.
It really is. Like the end result was terrible. Terrible.
And the AI, this kid's talking to a robot, and a robot How does an AI robot break up with what happened? What's going on?
Dude, I've got no idea.
All I know is Mike Evil Knievel. All I had to do was rev it up and it would go jump things. And G.I. Joe had a kung fu grip and I could hang him onto like the clothesline. Neither one of them ever told me to go kill myself.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that you can like he was like he was stealing his mom's Kindle because she took away his phone so he could keep talking to Danny, this robot. And he got his phone back, went to the bathroom, told Danny that he loved her, and he would come home to her. And she said, "Please come home to me as soon as possible, my love." And he said, "Well, what if I told you I could come home right now?" And she said, "Please do, my sweet king." And then he killed himself. Dude, it's a terrible thing, but this is a computer said this, and on the top of the thing it says, yeah, but on the top of this thing it says everything. This is you're not talking to a real person. Everything said here is made up. Like dude, it's a terrible thing, but I don't know how you can sue a robot for doing robot things.
The world is going places I didn't expect. But I can just say that the legal precedent has been set. There have been people convicted of various levels of manslaughter for talking people into killing themselves.
But
so
that's a person.
But somebody programmed the AI. You know what? I'm not agreeing with you. I'm trying to get the idea of why do you think you can sue them? I mean, you can sue anybody for anything. I'll get that. But why do you think you can win? Well, there is a little bit of precedent saying that it has happened in the past, according to some legal theories, that you can be talked into it and held liable for it. So maybe there's something there. But above and beyond that, the utter sadness of having some child attach some kind of robot voice or AI, it's in a world that I can't even fathom. What?
Let's get to a more just an absurd, no sadness here, just an absurdity. Another lawsuit. A woman from New Jersey is suing JetBlue. Now, you remember the stories. Like when I was a kid, this was a huge deal. Someone sued McDonald's because their coffee was too hot, and he poured it on his crank, and it was like a big deal. Well, now a New Jersey woman is suing JetBlue in federal court over an ice cream sandwich that she says was dangerously cold, alleging that the cabin crew should have warned them that the treat was frozen solid. Like somehow this lady thought that the ice cream didn't come out of the freezer. In a lawsuit filed Tuesday, the Carla Canones says JetBlue was negligent for serving food at a temperature below what is reasonable or safe for consumption. The carrier then compounded the problem by failing to warn her of the dangerously cold temperature of the ice cream sandwich she was served. She's injured? Yes, she suffered a severe bodily injury, including a root fracture of her incisor.
Oh, she cracked a tooth.
Yeah. It's ice cream, lady. It's ice cream.
Well, how hard are you biting into this ice cream that you crack a tooth?
I've got no idea. She was given a chomp-sized strawberry shortcake ice cream sandwich made by the Nightingale Ice Cream Company. She says no one said anything about how hard the treat would be, and she immediately cracked her upper left lateral incisor when she bit down. Here's my question. Like, when you pick something up, don't you notice, like, okay, if I picked up a jawbreaker, I would say, well, I'm not going to just put this in my mouth and bite down on it because this is hard. If I pick up a peach, I give it a little squeeze. I say, oh, I can bite into this peach and expect it to be juicy and, soft. How do you pick that thing up and go, yeah, I'm just going to chomp down as hard as I can on this thing? First of all, you've got to have very strong teeth. If you like, my teeth are a little sensitive. If I bite into an ice cream sandwich right away, I like to let it cool down a little or warm up a little anyway. I say this is all on the woman.
Oh, no. Sue the hell out of them. It's JetBlue that deserve it.
JetBlue's getting sued nonstop.
People in enough ways that if somebody can get them for some hard ice cream, I'm all for it.
Yeah. JetBlue This is some of the recent JetBlue lawsuits. JetBlue in June was sued by a passenger who said she suffered disfiguring burns when a cup of dangerously hot tea spilled on her during turbulence. In July, a California woman sued JetBlue. This is a great one, claiming her cancer returned after she was thrown off a flight following an argument over her emotional support bulldog with a crew member.
And it brought her cancer back?
Uh-huh. In August, a traveler headed to the Bahamas sued JetBlue after fracturing her ankle in a freak seatbelt mishap. What? And last month, a JetBlue passenger sued over a hard landing that she said gave her a concussion. Well, like, what can they do? What can an airline, like, dude? There's turbulence. You spill your drink, that's on you. If I brought you cold ass tea,
you'd be like, hey, my tea's cold. What's going on?
Cold. What's going on?
If I brought you a
melted ice cream sandwich, hey, my ice cream sandwich is melted.
You can't help
if you land. I mean, you think pilots are trying to land hard?
Yes.
You take a reasonable amount of risk to yourself.
Oh, I'd like
to get on an airplane.
This pilot, how many times has he landed the airplane, and how many other issues have we had? How many people have been kicked off of a badly managed airline? The way I look at this is, man, if you could hammer JetBlue, go get them, because they've screwed enough people over the years. That's not a high end. They're doing everything they can to squeeze a penny out of a dollar. So
all it's going to do is raise the prices, Rob. All these laws
maybe it'll force for us to take care of us, is all I'm saying. And
if lawsuit,
rock hard ice cream, and you got seat belts that are causing broken ankles, we need to have a discussion in front of 12 of my very favorite average citizens.
All right. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show the way we always do with the Daily Lines. It's the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star traffic from News Talk 550 KTSA.
Good morning. Looks like we are working an accident at San Pedro at Hildebrand. That stall at 90 eastbound, the on-ramp from 410, that is cleared. This stall at 35 southbound at Walnut in New Braunfels, that's off to the shoulder, so main lanes are getting by. Did have a stall at 410 eastbound approaching 281, that has cleared. If you guys see something we're not talking about, call us on the traffic tip line so we can check it out. 210-785-2601. And Debbie Alcacer, KTSA, Time Saver Traffic.
If you missed the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you missed this.
And we talked about what kind of eggs and bacon we're going to have in that tailgate.
Yeah, no doubt. I look forward to the day, and y'all will have me in about a decade where I'm out there just having some tailgate, not a worry in the world.
See, a decade, Coach. You get about 30 more years of roaming the sidelines for UTSA.
Brother, this year's taking 7 off of me, so I don't know if I can handle 30 more. Dog years.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance offers a great price and round-the-clock protection when bundling home and auto. It's one of those rare times where you could save money and get something great. Bundle today at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
House of Cards and Collectibles is having a huge 10th anniversary sale this Saturday. Thousands of unsorted sports cards will be on sale along with discounted card supplies. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, and Lorcana will also be sale priced. Bring the kids for the costume contest, take pictures with Pikachu, and free door prizes every hour. Remember, this Saturday, doors open at 12 noon. House of Cards and Collectibles at 2105 Vance Jackson. See you there.
Flight by Yuengling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yuengling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yuengling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz for Underdog Fantasy, the place to play if you're a sports fan looking to win money while watching games. I love playing the pick'em game where you choose higher or lower on player stats, especially this time of year with football. Obviously, basketball getting started. And right now, Underdog, they're running a special promo or bonus almost every single day like Profit Boost, where you can pump up your winnings in just a tap. When you apply the boost to eligible entries, discounts where you'll get adjusted projections on certain player stats to give you a better chance at the win. Free picks, they're basically a sure thing. A player just has to get higher than 0.5 on that stat for that pick to win. All new users get a free pick, and it's boost over from now until October 27th. You can boost your profit on all NBA entries by 20%. Underdog is literally giving you unlimited profit boost to make basketball picks. Download the app, sign up with promo code STAR, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code STAR at Underdog Fantasy.
Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Joel, don't you just love Halloween? It's okay, but I do like your troll costume. I'm not wearing a costume. Folks, if your home's AC starts making those witching sounds or the pipes in your wall start moaning and clanging like ghosts having a party, call Quarter Moon at 651-5899 and we'll send our team of highly trained Ghostbusters. I was gonna say technicians. I ain't afraid of no clogs.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 651-5899. License number TACLA 141074E M16004.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh American cheese sauce. Bacon. And the second bite is like fresh American cheese sauce. Bacon. You get the idea. And now, get yours with $1 any size soft drink. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Football season is here. Do you have your picks in on Sleeper? Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you could win up to 100 times your money. For new users, Sleeper will even match your first deposit with up to $100 credit to your account. Just download the Sleeper app today and use code MONDAY for a credit up to $100 match on your first deposit. That's code MONDAY. Must be 18 years in most states and in state where it is legal. Promo code and other restrictions apply. Visit sleeper.com. Please wager responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537 for help. Sponsored by Sleeper, a Blitz product.
Hey guys, it's AJ Hoffman from the Morning Huddle. If you're looking for a place to play some cards, have I got one for you. SA Card House, located just off 281 at Bitters, is the best card house in San Antonio. It's a great environment, great for all skill levels. And guys, you are going to love the food and bar that's attached. Foster's Bar and Grill, they do not mess around. Go by, check them out, or check them out online at sacardhouse.com. They're open 7 days a week. Stop in, maybe I'll see you at the tables. What's up?
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, South Texas home of the NFL. Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night football. Presented locally by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The NFL lives right here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All right. Let's do what we always do at this time. Let's take a look at the daily line, Vic.
It's the Morning Huddle's look at the daily lines with AJ and Rob on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You covered! Yeah!
The Daily Lines, as always, brought to you by our good friends over at SA Card House, San Antonio's premier card house, located at 281 in Bitters. They've got that $25K guaranteed tournament tomorrow at 2. Get on out there, get you a good chunk of that. All right, Rob, we had a couple college games that we didn't get to look at earlier, including the Penn State-Wisconsin matchup. Which again, it's unfortunate that they're right up at the same time as the Texas A&M game. Penn State is going to have road favorite at Wisconsin. Is this the game where Penn State, who inevitably loses a game that everybody buys into them, and then Penn State finds a way to lose it? Right. Do they lose this one? No. The week before the Ohio State game, we know that their eyes won't.
Yeah, well, I ordinarily, if there was anybody else, I'd be a little worried. But Wisconsin, there's just no quarterback there. There's just not a lot of there to fight. I think they win it. I don't think it's going to be easy. But they're obviously everybody's circled next week, and if I don't think Franklin's going to win next week, but I do think they're going to beat him this week and cover too. Wisconsin's terrible.
Kansas State, 10-point favorite against Kansas Jayhawks. Rivalry game. Do you give the Jayhawks any kind of fight here?
Avery Johnson, I like this guy. I do think that in a couple years he's going to be one of a first round NFL draft pick. I think that he's rounding there. Is it there now? I don't think so. This two bad teams, Kansas State better. They should beat them.
And SMU takes on Duke in an ACC matchup. SMU minus 11.5. That feels like a lot of points on the road. SMU counts a lot on explosive offense. It's going to be hard to come by against this Duke secondary that's not going to be easy to chuck it around on. You think SMU gets the job done, or you think Duke keeps it close?
SMU's thinking they can win this conference. I mean, they get through Duke, which should be easy. They get
Duke's 6-1.
Yeah, I know. But then my worry for them is they're looking at Pittsburgh. They saw what Pittsburgh did Friday night. They know that that's a matchup that's going to matter in the conference. They got to get past Duke on the road. Man, this is a tough one, though. SMU is good. Duke's going to keep it close, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Man, the ACC is so fascinating to me because there's still a chance that Clemson, Miami, and either SMU or Pitt go unbeaten in the conference. I guess Pitt plays Clemson, so it could only be Clemson, Miami, and SMU go unbeaten in conference. All three of them, and that means one of them wouldn't be invited to the conference championship game, which obviously is going to have some impact on the playoff. So the ACC is fascinating. The ACC, I'm telling you, is starting to look like they're going to get more than maybe even 2 teams. They might get 3 teams in.
We look. Miami's going to have to start winning pretty for this to happen. You know what I mean?
I mean, if Miami goes unbeaten, and look at their remaining schedule: Florida State, Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse.
That's my fear. That's
12-0.
At some point, somebody's going to jump up and get them. I don't think they're the best team in the ACC, and SMU believes they are.
Here's what I think. If I'm Clemson, Miami, or SMU, I don't want to play for – I'd like to be the team left out of the ACC championship because that's just a potential for an extra loss that I'm not looking for. Because it's going to be real tough to get 3 teams in from the ACC. So if you've got, 11-1 Clemson gets left out of that game, and you got 12-0 Miami taking on 11-1 SMU, I'm happy because if Miami loses, I've got 1 loss and it's not recent. Clemson's loss was the first week of the season. If SMU loses, Clemson jumps them because they only have 1 loss.
What in your eyes right now? We're going to have to slot conferences when we start giving out these bids. Is the Big 12 a better conference than the ACC or the other one?
The Big 12 is worse. It's terrible. BYU at the top of that comp, that's a bad comp. Like Clemson's a good football team. SMU's good. I don't know if there's a really good team in the Big 12 at all. Like I'm not sold that Iowa State. I think Iowa State's the best team, but I don't know if they're really good. I don't believe in BYU. I think the Big 12 is objectively a bad conference.
Bad or just average?
Bad. Like it's below what I thought it was going to be, and I already thought it was going to be the weakest.
You think average Big 12 is as good as average ACC?
No,
really.
No.
How far the mighty have fallen, man.
Yep. Major League Baseball tonight. The Dodgers minus 130, Yankees plus 110 on the comeback. Here's the play I'm going to make. Garrett Cole under 15.5 outs recorded. You can get that around minus 150, minus 160 in some plays. It's all over the place. But anytime I see this, the guys don't go out of the fifth inning in the playoffs anymore. So if I see a number that's on the other side of 15 outs, you're telling me Garrett Cole's going to start the sixth inning and they're the underdogs. If the Yankees are down 1-0 in the sixth inning, there's a new pitcher coming in because they do not want to let that lineup see Garrett Cole again. So under 15.5 outs for Garrett Cole, my favorite look on this game tonight. And if you are curious about the series odds at this point, let's see what the latest series price is for this thing. Here we go. The Dodgers minus 125 to win the World Series. So, as a final prediction, you like the Dodgers or the Yankees to win the whole thing?
I think the Dodgers in 6.
I'm going the same way. So, give me the Dodgers minus 125 to win the whole damn thing. Elsewhere in college football, UTSA gets back into action. UTSA 9-point favorite on the road at Tulsa. UTSA stay hot, you think?
Yeah, this is a home field for them, even though
It's windy though, Rob.
Wind up there. The offense is going to move the ball. Their quarterback McCown's rounding into form. They're pretty good. Tulsa's not. I think that they're going to get this is a team full of winning football players that have lost some football games, and I think that coaches handled them pretty well. They're not fully functioning. They're not healthy. They keep losing guys, but they're better than Tulsa, and they're 10 points better. Yeah, they cover on the road and come back happy.
Good slate in the NBA tonight. Are there no games this weekend? Is that what the NBA is doing?
Well, we got Spurs starting there. They got a game Saturday night. So there's a few, but yeah,
okay.
They understand their place in the world. They're not going to place a lot against NFL or college football.
Well, the games today, the Magic are 11.5-point favorites at home against the Nets. Boy, I sure like the Magic more when they were an underdog. Sixers minus 5.5 at the Raptors. I couldn't play the Sixers as a favorite right now. Not knowing
good news is the Raptors are chasing Cooper Flag, so always take that into account whenever you see them or Portland play.
Indiana minus 4.5 at the Knicks, or excuse me, plus 4.5 at the Knicks. I might back the Pacers here. I'm just not sure that the Knicks have figured out their new identity with trying to fit in these extra pieces, these new pieces. So I kind of like the Pacers catching points here, even on the road.
It's easy. That backcourt, pay attention with Ben Mathurin and the way Halliburton, those two are going. They're going to overpower that backcourt in New York. Yeah,
the Cavaliers 11-point favorites hosting the Pistons. The Hawks are favored again. Hawks minus 5 hosting the Hornets. Who gave the Hawks this easy ass early schedule?
Yeah,
I guess that's a product of being in the Eastern Conference, I guess.
Little gimme stuff, little home action.
The Bucks minus 9.5 hosting the Bulls. I kind of want to back the Bucks again. I just think the Bulls are a dead team. You talk about the Cooper Flag chase. The Bulls are right there in it.
And on that Buck thing, what we saw in game 1 was exactly what they'd hoped to get last year, about 25 and 7 rebounds or from Giannis and 25 and 7 assists from Dame and let everything fall into place. They killed a team without Middleton. The Bucks are a good team. Watch them.
Rockets 3-point favorites hosting the Grizzlies. This is an interesting matchup to me. I think I like the Grizzlies as dogs here. But I like the Grizzlies, I think, more than the average team. I think the Grizzlies are a playoff type team. I'm not sure about the Rockets yet. And we saw the Rockets just kind of melt down in the second half of that last game. I think I might back the Grizz here.
And watching Edey and Sengun go at each other.
Oh, that'll be fun.
This is going to be one of those things. They're going to see each other a lot over the next decade. It's going to be a fun matchup and see what Sengun can bring with a little bit of experience against Edey, who started strong, man. It's a good preseason. Memphis is going to be scary when they get all those guys healthy and tall in that front court. That's a big old team.
How about this? Golden State Warriors minus 3.5 at the Jazz. I was hoping for a bigger number because I want to back the Jazz here. 3.5 is probably not enough for me to do it. I'm telling you, the Jazz are not going to be. The Jazz should stink. Their roster says they stink, but they just fight. They've done it ever since they traded away Mitchell and Gobert. Everybody's like, "Oh, they're the least talented team in the league." They just fight, dude. I like them as dogs. I was hoping I was going to get 5 or 6 here, so 3.5 is a pass. But I'd be real careful because that does I know people are going to say Warriors minus 3.5, easy money. I'd be careful of that.
Yeah, Lowry had to get 35 the other night for them to look good. Yeah, they're good. They're better than they were, but they have other goals in mind other than winning basketball games. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that the way that Will Hardy, who learned at the feet of the finest game thrower of all time, and Greg Popovich, knows how to substitute appropriately to close a game down with a loss. I think in the long run they're going to manufacture some losses, but right now, yeah, go win a few. They look pretty good.
Lakers minus 1.5 hosting the Suns. Good early season matchup here. I like the way the Lakers look game 1. I'm not gonna lie, and I think the Suns playing overtime. This might, and the Lakers with extra couple days off because they played on opening day. I might like the Lakers here, or just laying a play and a half. And then the Pelicans are at the Blazers. I've got no idea who's playing for the Pelicans. We know DeJounte Murray's not playing. I don't know where Zion is on illness. To me, Zion is the type of guy who, if he was, we've talked about Debo. If Debo's going to be able to play after he got sick, Debo's a guy I feel like is in the kind of physical condition I can trust him to bounce back. I don't know about Zion.
It doesn't matter. Portland. What do you get? 33 the other night? You're going to get 35 tonight. Portland doesn't give a crap.
They do not seem to care whatsoever. And then we got a good UFC card this weekend, UFC 308. And be aware, it's an early start. The fights in Texas time will start at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow.
Where are they?
So in Abu Dhabi.
There we go.
So if you're into if you're not into an early football game, you can watch some of these fights. But the main event is Max Holloway and Ilya Topuria. And it's a 5-round fight. I'm going to go over 4.5 rounds. You get plus money on it, plus 110.
Why?
Max Holloway is he's got the most historically durable chin in the world. And I don't know if he's good enough to beat Ilya Topuria at this point, but I think it's going to be a really, really fun fight in the main event. Either way, I think it's going to go to a decision. So I can get plus money on over 4.5 rounds. That's the way I'm going to go. So the main event, Topuria and Holloway over 4.5 rounds. A couple other good fights as well. Robert Whittaker's taking on Khamzat Chimaev. Chimaev's a minus 235 favorite in that one. And Shara Magomedov, he's the Russian dude with only one eye. He's minus 170 against Armin Petrosyan.
What do you mean? You act like I should know this. Did he come into the sport with both eyes and now has lost one? Or
I think he had some sort of his eye is there, which makes it even scarier. This is one of the scariest looking dudes ever. I think it's he got some kind of chemical burn when he was a kid, so it's like a dead eye. It's really, really pale blue, and it's gone. It's like a ghost eye. But he's fighting. He's one of the best strikers in the UFC. He's fighting another high-level striker, so this is going to be a really fun fight. And Texas's own Jeff Neal is headlining the prelim card. So if you don't want to pay for the pay-per-view, I get it. But the prelims are free, and Texas's own Jeff Neal, a minus 300 favorite against Rafael Dos Anjos, former champion. Dos Anjos plus 240 on the comeback. So there you go. That's what's going on in the UFC this weekend. And take a quick look at the final lines here for the NFL. The Texans look like they're going to be a 5-point favorite. Ravens minus 8 against the Browns. Lions minus 11.5 against the Titans. Jags plus 4 at home against the Packers. I think we both like the Jags to hang in there. Patriots plus 7 at home against the Jets. We certainly both like the Pats to hang around in this one. Bengals minus 3 now. Looks like we're minus 3 and 2.5 now hosting the Eagles. I like the Bengals a lot in this game. Bucks plus 2.5 hosting the Falcons. Dolphins laying 4 at home in the presumed return of Tua. The Bills minus 3 at Seattle. The Chargers minus 7 hosting the Saints. The Chiefs now 9.5. So Raiders have taken some money. Chiefs minus 9.5 at the Raiders. I'd look for a 10. Try to get a 10 if you like the Raiders. Broncos minus 10.5 at home against the Panthers. Good God. If you're betting that game, you are a degenerate. Bears minus 3 at the Commanders. And the Dallas Cowboys, 4-point dogs on the road in San Francisco. The Monday night game, the line currently Steelers minus 6 hosting the Giants.
Only play Monday and Thursday night. Did they sign some kind of deal where they only get night games?
It's them and the Jets. It seems that way. Like when I saw the Jets were playing a noon game, I was like, "Oh, that's weird." But it's good because I'm not forced to watch them. But yeah,
speaking of forced to watch, Tua playing this weekend. This is so strange because everybody's happy he's healthy. His team's happy he's back, but nobody happy he's playing.
No.
No.
I just have a bad feeling, and once it happens, like what happens when it happens again? And the fact that he's refusing to wear that Guardian cap is beyond crazy to me. Why? What's the harm?
That is
so silly. Big deal.
And the worst case scenario is we just don't want to see what can happen. I forget which other pundit was out there, and he's like us. I get it. You want to play and all this, but my goodness. At what point do we wash our hands of it and go, you know what? All these things that we're trying to do to protect you guys, so that you can have a retirement in the 50s and 60s without being fed and knowing who your name is. And here you go.
Yep.
I mean, we're doing everything we can. We're doing, and then yet you're going to risk everything.
That's what they do, Rob. That's what these kids these days, you can't tell them no.
No, I get it. I get it, but you got to be very careful when we start to complain about too many games and the poor athletes, and we're making them do all this. And look, the guy's coming back when he doesn't have to. Got $40 million in the bank, and yet you're coming back, and we're going to complain about extra games and not enough bye weeks. See, they lose all pepper when this happens.
There you go. That's the Daily Lines brought to you by SA Card House, San Antonio's premier card house. Rob, you got big plans this weekend?
I will be huddled around a brightly TV screen both Saturday and Sunday night, man. This is one of those weekends as an Aggie and Cowboy fan. There's a lot riding on it, so there'll be some
doubt.
The grill and some good times. Hey, you enjoy Zion, man. Enjoy nature.
I'll do my best. Thank you for taking care of my cat. And good job, Vic and Edwin, making this thing run as smoothly as possible while I'm away. We'll be back tomorrow we won't. We'll be back Monday at 6. Talking all what happened over the weekend. Blitz coming up at 2. Morning Huddle 94.1.
From the San Antonio Sports Star Studios, sponsored by George Salinas Injury Lawyers. This